Hello everyone, my name is Austin Hannum and this is what's in my bag for the 2019 season. I'm going to go ahead and go putters, mid-ranges, fairways, and then the high-speed drivers. So I'm going to start with my putting putters. I got two putting putters. I chose the Jawbreaker Challenger SS's. I just like these because they're super glidey, they're beadless, and they're just really comfortable to me. So yeah, that's just kind of, I go off the feel. Next up, we got a magnet, very old. I don't even know how old this disc is, but this is for more of like if I get in the woods, I'll be throwing this a lot, and kind of longer jump putts. If there's no wind, I like to kind of just spin this towards the basket and try to put it in. And then we got two zones. I got one ESP zone and one Jawbreaker. This disc is probably one of my favorites in the Discraft lineup. I like to throw a lot of sidearms with this disc, the ESP one. Backhands, I usually like the Jawbreaker. I want to throw it hard and with a little hyzer, and it'll just pop up flat and go really straight for me. So definitely check out the zone. That's all for my putters. Right now I got 4 mid-ranges in the bag. Start off with the Z Buzz. The Buzz is definitely my favorite mid-range I've ever thrown. Buzzes are just super straight and they go wherever you throw them, whatever angle you put them on. That's, yeah. And then I got the First Run Buzz. This disc is awesome. It actually took the place of the Comet because it's just so old and beat up. I throw it flat and it just kind of holds over and it's just perfect for what I need it for. Third is this Ace Race Archer. This is another one that's going to be really good in the woods. I really like to use it for jump putts from like 100 feet. I like to jump putt the Archer and just kind of spin it again towards the basket. And then lastly is this Big Z drone. The drone is definitely an awesome disc. This hasn't been in my bag for 6 years. Definitely a very special disc to me. It'll probably be in my bag for a very long time. Next, I'll go with my fairway drivers. We got 5 of them. Start out with the Raptor. This disc is awesome for sidearms. I don't really backhand it a whole lot. But yeah, it's not very deep, so it's just a very good feel in the hand for the sidearm. It's real stable. I like to maneuver it through like the woods and stuff too. Next is the Predator. This is probably my favorite fairway driver. I like to throw, this thing is very stable. I like to throw it flat with a little anhyzer. I like to get it kind of high too, so just let it work its flight really good. But yeah, you definitely check out the Z Predator. Next up is the Big Z Vulture. This disc is really good for just like throwing them kind of really hard on hyzer, and it'll just get up and just have a consistent straight flight. And then it'll obviously finish left. Next is the Glow Stalker. This is kind of just like a longer buzz for me. Very straight with a little finish to the right. I won't be throwing this much out here in Arizona, but this is definitely a very good disc later on in the season when we get to the woods. And then also the Undertaker. This disc is pretty similar to the Stalker. It's a little more stable for me. I don't know if it's the plastics or whatever, but I like to throw this disc on some hyzer and it'll come up flat for a while and then it'll just finish left at the very end. So this is a pretty good disc. All right, lastly, we're gonna get into the distance drivers. I have 5 of these. I have 4 forces. First up is the Nuco S, though. This disc has been awesome for me early in the season. It's been a little windy, so I mainly use this for the sidearms. I like to throw them really low with a little anhyzer and just watch them do its thing. Very stable. Would highly recommend to have one of these in the bag. Next up is the Z Force. This is one of the very early runs of the Force. Very pop top and very, very stable. I like to throw this disc really hard with a little anhyzer and just let it pan out and land with hyzer. Next up is the Z Force. This one's interesting. It's got the Eric McCabe stamp on it. I believe it was his disc, but this disc is perfect for this is my sidearm disc. I like to throw it really low with a little anhyzer to flat, and it will always finish to the right. So this disc is one of my main go-to drivers for sidearms. Next up is the Z Force. It's a newer run of the Z Force. It's got like a really pearly bottom here. Very overstable. This disc will be used a lot for just hyzers and just flat shots that need to finish left. And now lastly is the ESP Force. This is my go-to for distance shots for sidearm and backhand. Like to throw it flat and just let it turn, and it always finishes left. But yeah, this is my go-to for my distance shots. And that is all that's in my bag. If you would like to check out any of these discs, go to discraft.com. If you have any questions and see me on the course, then yeah, come up and ask. Thank you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 2019 Discraft Great Lakes Open, presented by Discraft. I'm Paul Ulibarri. I'm joined by Marty Coplea. And what we got today, man?
Today we've got Paige Pierce, Catrina Allen, Madison Walker, and Sarah Hokom on the lead card.
Oh, I mean, we couldn't have written a better script for the day. Absolutely. Moving day, and moving forward into our coverage, I can't help but think we're going to have another battle.
Yeah.
For sure. I hope.
For sure.
So let's get to the action.
We're now ready for our feature card. Team first, from Plano, Texas, Paige Pierce.
As Paige lines this up, she has 477 feet to the pin. She's going to go with a slight anhyzer here. Try to get some nice carry to the right. You do have a little bit of OB on the left, and this looks pretty good.
Team next, from Pipestone, Minnesota, Catrina Allen.
And let's see if Catrina can make a just a tad bit of a correction on that line. It's always nice to see a good shot right before you. You kind of see what the wind's doing, see if that other player's getting a drop or lift. Looks like a slight headwind.
Looks good if it can hold that line.
Yeah, it just has that height. Doesn't look like it's going to be able to hold yet. It's coming out a little bit. Needs to get down. And that is green.
Green is good.
Team next, from Pensacola, Florida, Madison Walker.
And as we see the first two throw backhand turnovers, Madison's more known for her sidearm.
Yep.
Sidearm predominant player, especially for shots like this. Even though she does have both, you'll see her lean a little bit more on that sidearm.
Yep, her and Sarah both. She's out there good.
Team next, from Caldwell, Idaho, Sarah Hokom.
And we had the pleasure of watching Sarah yesterday.
Sarah played a solid round all day yesterday. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys for an even round. And her putting was on point, 100% inside the circle.
And this is nice. She gets that one actually to flip up a bit more than Madison did. So I'm guessing she'll be right around 100 feet, something like that.
Everybody's off clean.
Let's go to our first commercial.
Disc golf is a relatively young sport, but its popularity makes it one of the fastest growing pastimes in the world. The PDGA is a not-for-profit, worldwide player organization dedicated to promoting the sport. Like a long drive off the tee, disc golf is soaring. So don't just be a witness to disc golf's explosive growth, be a part of it. Join the PDGA.
I practice a lot. It's a vice. An escape from stress, from work. It's my chance to just get away during the week. It's like meeting up with an old friend, you know? I'll never get tired of that sound.
Love getting outside and challenging yourself to become better? How about spending time with family and friends, or just marveling at the pure joy of flight? Then you've come to the right place at the right time. Join the PDGA.
When I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway by accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
You see the spotter directing some traffic, telling the ladies where their drives ended up. Thank you to all the volunteers out there at the Great Lakes Open. And here's a good shot, Marty. It depicts how much elevation there is, even down in the fairway. She's barely off the fairway.
Yeah.
And there's a good 4 foot of elevation there. She's going to have to get this even a little bit higher than she probably normally would, just because of the the high grass and such right there. So I mean, obviously not a tough shot, but just to get a feel of the slopes and stuff that they're playing today, I can't help but wonder if after today going into tomorrow, how tired they're going to be.
Yep.
With all the up and down.
Yep. Starts wears on you. It's where caddy really comes in handy. And Sarah's in there as well. I mean, constantly having your feet on uneven ground is challenging for anybody.
Well, it's definitely, there's a big difference between like a link style golf course, that we've been playing recently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Even at Ledgestone, a couple of weeks prior, as Madison lines up this approach, a couple of weeks prior, there's a couple up and downs, but for the most part, it was pretty flat. So definitely a big time difference going from something like that to really having to aim up, really having to aim down on a bunch of these tee shots and approaches. Looks like Paige threw her signature Starbucks coffee this morning. Let's see if she can start the round off right. She's just outside the circle.
Ooh, Good run.
Very good run.
Good run.
That would have been an amazing 2 to start off. Good momentum, but still, I mean, the drive that she had, very good. Putt, very good. You know, missed by an inch at most. An inch to the right, that's in.
Yep. From a tough lie, too. And Paige has an aggressive game. She's always going for it.
Right.
Like I mentioned, Sarah was 100% inside the circle yesterday. Let's see if she can start off on the right foot today. And she does.
Looks like it's just going to be a bunch of pars.
And then this hole played as the 9th most difficult yesterday, averaging half a stroke over par.
So not a bad start.
Nope.
Obviously, I think Paige was in the best position there. And
yep. And we only saw one birdie on this yesterday, and that happened to be Miss Pierce.
hole 2, 415 foot. You can see the tee pad actually right there on the left. And this card's going to want to, I'm going to guess they're going to try to throw hyzer kind of out over this rough on the left, land it in, you know, obviously best case scenario would be middle, but I think they're all going to be playing controlled hyzers so that they have, you know, another, I'd say 250, 300 foot into the pin. You can see it back here on the back part of the screen. I'm not sure if that's the actual position for this round. I know that yesterday the basket was a little bit more to the right and shorter.
Right. Right.
Leaving a little bit less into that green. So,
and like we're going to hear all day today, there's 76 feet of elevation gain on this. So that's quite uphill.
Right. And it's playing as the second easiest hole. So coming into like easier holes like this, you expect them to score. But even yesterday we saw on this hole, a couple of our featured players on the card got off the fairway, ended up taking a couple bogeys. So
right,
definitely second easiest hole. But as we move through this course, we can see the teeth that it has, and any one of these holes can really bite these women.
It sure can. You just missed your line by a little bit. You're in that natural OB, and
and
struggle.
It's tough. I mean, some of this natural out of bounds is a good 8 foot tall.
Right.
So as soon as you get off the fairway, it's
Several times we had players off the fairway, and you could barely see them at all.
Right. Yeah, it looks like Paige is just going to line up maybe a slight flip up here, aiming right at that person in the red to pink. Flip it up right down the fairway. That's as good as it gets right there.
Yeah, well done.
Came out with some heat, too.
Yeah, she's way up there.
I think we're going to see Catrina line up a similar line.
Eyes are out.
Yeah, and maybe that was just a little bit of a flippier disc, trying to get that nice ride up the hill.
Hopefully
it looked like she got past that branch, so she should be able to, have the height to get up there. I don't think the distance into the green should be bad, just depending on her stance.
That's a good backhand from Madison. She has the power there when she needs it.
It looks like Sarah's trying to do a turnover, didn't quite get it over, and she's going to be disappointed with that result.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
What do you think, flatness and stiffness on this?
Somewhat flat, neutral stiffness. This is a good disc right here.
Purple one. Got it. 2 more.
Danny, this is a sick one.
Dude, I gotta get through all these today.
Cheers to a good day, gentlemen.
Cheers. Ooh.
Yeah,
That's good.
It's a hard day.
That's great.
Looks like Sarah's located her tee shot, and she's going to be pretty deep into the rough. The good thing about the right side is I feel like it's not as gloomy as the left side. It seems like once you get off to the left, there's actually a slope, and then you have to deal with the elevation that kind of drops off there. And she might be lining up some sort of sidearm flex through a small gap or something. Possibly a tomahawk or a roller. But she is going to have a swing, so that's good.
Yep.
It's not like she has to pitch straight out to the left.
She's leaning on that orange disc again that she was very helpful for her yesterday. I think it's her insanity.
That was a good, really great shot from there.
That is.
Yeah, good out. I mean, she's going to be able to pitch up from there. We've seen her, be very good inside about 100 feet with that touch backhand. So she should make pretty easy work of that and get a par, get on out of here. Yeah, and even though Catrina kind of pulled that a bit to the right, she's in really good position. Being on the right side is going to open up her upshot into the green to where she'll be able to throw turnover up there and use the whole left side of the fairway to be able to, put it up the fairway, not really have to deal with any more of the rough.
Right. She should be able to get in there for a birdie attempt.
Yeah, she'll have a swing for sure. Looks like she does have some tough footing though. Really, I think the key ingredient in this shot is height. She needs to get the right height to get it up over this hill. And if she does that, no matter where, she really throws it, she's going to have a look of some sort.
And we're seeing, looks like she's going to go for the patent pending. Saw a number of those yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, she is pretty close. So throwing mid-range, this should be a very good shot.
Yes.
There.
I'm going to come down this way, sorry. Yeah, no, you're good.
Madison removing some debris from her lie.
Yeah, and I think the tricky thing about her upshot here, she's going to have to go, she wants to go sidearm. And if she does that, these little, I don't know, weeds, blackberry bushes are going to be in her swing. You see that?
Yep.
And if that's the case, your tendency is to pull it.
Yep. It's right in there.
And it's just annoying,
Sure. Oh, and you're right.
Yeah, unfortunately, she does pull that a bit to the left, and she'll be right at about 70 to 80 feet. Yeah, when you have something in your swing, and you're like, it's on your backswing, it's tough to have that nice rhythm. A lot of times you'll pull back and then your rhythm's just a little bit off.
She was having to fight through those weeds on her stroke.
Mm-hmm.
It's where, Catrina opted for the patent pending, seemed to, take that out of play.
Mm-hmm. Paige is going to have a drop-in birdie right there, which she should have with that drive. I mean, that was absolutely perfect.
You see Sarah going to the backhand on the approach. Well executed.
And as Madison and Catrina, get up to their lies, Catrina's about 20 foot, something like that, maybe a little closer, 15 foot. That's going to be a nice range to see. We'll really be able to tell where her nerves are at, where she is, mentally with her putting stroke, which will be nice early in the round.
Yep.
Yes. I feel like we'll see a lot from how this comes out. Where she hits it. I have no doubt that she's going to make it, but it seems like once she gets into a rhythm early, there's no stopping her. She can really get on fire and get a lot of birdies in a row. And sometimes I like that. Obviously it's great to park every hole, moving forward. But when you hit that first 20 to 15, 30 footer, there's just a sort of confidence that you have. Right. Moving forward, even if you miss, it can give you confidence in a way because your miss tendency for that day and you can make the correction for the rest of the round.
And that's an excellent way to look at it. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of us, when we step up to our first test of the day and we miss, it shakes our confidence.
Right. And this is just in that range where it's a little nervy, it's on a high rise. So it's not that easy, but it's just a good one to just get early.
And there we go.
And that came out nice. Good rhythm, good height. That's going to give her a lot of confidence moving forward. And no damage done. A couple pars, a couple birdies. It's probably about what we expect on, second easiest hole on the course.
Now
moving into hole 3. As we see some. All right. 590 foot straight downhill. I mean, so if we had the 70 foot of up in the slope, we have 70 foot of down right here. And a little bit of an OB left, but honestly, I don't want to say it's not going to come into play, but it's a big fairway. It really is. So if they keep this a bit right on that tree line, it should be fine. And then as you see where the basket is right there, I would say, a good 300 foot shot and then leave yourself 290 into the green should be about right. The one thing that is in play on this, though, is once you throw it down the hill a bit, your next shot is a bit uphill. So it does play a little bit further, and it does play a little bit shorter on the tee shot. I think the tee shot favors Madison and Sarah only because I believe they're going to be throwing sidearms away from that out of bounds line. You know, we've talked about that extra distance being very crucial on this course. And I believe that with Paige and Catrina, you know, they have a good 30, I think it's safe to say 30 to 40 extra feet than almost the rest of the entire field, you know,
right.
giving only a couple names.
Yep.
And, but on a hole like this, that also can be a little bit tricky because they throw further, you know, the out of bounds starts a bit further on this hole. So that could bring the OB into play for Paige and Catrina. So this is one of those holes where I feel like it's a well-designed hole for that reason.
It played as the 10th most difficult yesterday, averaging 0.78 over par, or my mistake, 3.78, so a little bit under par. As we see Catrina fanning herself, trying to cool herself in the muggy weather.
She makes it all the way to that rough. The only tricky part about her up shot is she's not going to be able to see the basket. Other than that, I mean, that was absolutely pummeled.
Yeah.
And I like this play from Catrina. She's actually going with mid-range, a little more control, you know, because it's downhill. You don't have to, you know, throw that fast driver off the tee. And that's a good play right in the middle. She knows she has the distance to be able to throw that and then probably throw driver into the green.
Right. And that's another advantage of the distance. Being able to throw a slower speed disc that is more controllable.
And I was surprised with the backhand choice, but that's a beautiful shot right down the fairway, hugging that tree line to the right. But now that I look at the tee pad, that left side is kind of blocked off for the sidearm. If you see that bush kind of pushing out, and that might be the reason why. We know Sarah is definitely going to throw the sidearm here, though.
Yes.
Perfect. All the ladies are going to be right in the middle of the fairway.
Looks like Sarah's going to be first up to throw. see it coming in.
It's really good.
Beautiful.
About 15 to 20 foot.
Yep. That same orange disc that seems to be something she's leaning on heavily this tournament. It's like from this spot also, Catrina can't see the basket either.
Yeah, and it looks like she's going with a mid-range putter. I'm a little bit surprised at that. Just because, you know, we've seen her throw stable. Even on hole 1, she leaned on the stable sidearm, throw the approach. Not saying she should have thrown sidearm there or anything, but we see her throw stable a lot, you know, with the, I believe it's the H1.
Okay.
But even in the last tournament, Ledgestone, you know, we saw her kind of lean on that putter up shot a bunch. So I guess no surprise to see her do it there. And it really shows us how she's able to cut the hole kind of in half, you know, going mid-range putter and displaying that good distance and control accuracy. She's, you know, left herself 10, 15 foot for another birdie. And Madison, you know, really got a hold of this drive. She can almost see the basket from where she's at. Almost.
It's not a bad vertical, though. Very well executed.
Paige really taking no time here, lining up and throwing. And that one got a bit nose up. Probably because that hill's right in front of her, you know, probably made her throw it a bit high, and then her going with putter there. Once you get that putter nose up, it takes a lot of power to be able to get it past a certain distance. And we see her come up a little bit short. So first tester really for her of the round.
And those weeds definitely came into play as well on that uphill.
Definitely a better gallery than the first day. And that's nice to see everybody getting out to support the lead card.
It's great to see everybody out enjoying the 4th of July weekend. Watching, playing disc golf. Can't think of any better way to spend it.
Well, I'm enjoying myself here with you, Marty.
Besides this, of course.
30 foot, right in the middle. Wow, what a putt. Didn't take any time. Just knocked it down.
Great.
Let's get a replay.
Beautiful.
Another good putt.
Sarah continues.
You definitely want to get some birdies early. You know, we talked about it yesterday. I feel like the front nine's a bit softer than the back nine.
Yes.
And so you want to pick up a few birdies and then kind of hold those on as tight as you can throughout the round. Kind of pad your score a bit. Yep. You know, then after that, if you can get some pars finishing the back nine, you're gonna have a good score. We saw Madison yesterday. I think she had one birdie, two birdies, one bogey. Correct. I believe, something like that.
Correct.
And so she had one of those kind of unassuming rounds. We saw her post that fairly early, and then that score, you know, going from like 6th place to 3rd place to 4th place throughout the round, and then ended up being in 3rd place. Yep. Once it was all said and done. So we know that an under par score on this course is really good. Moving to hole 4, 508 feet of distance. You see this pine tree on the right up here. I think everybody's going to try to beat that tree. And as long as you land somewhere right about in here in the shadow, it'll give you some sort of shot into the green. Right side's a little bit better than left, only because the further left you go, you really need distance so that you get past those trees. If you land in those trees, it's going to be, tough to have the height to get up to this pin, which is obviously up onto this hill. Kind of a tight corridor to get up there. It's just pretty specific shot you're going to have to throw from wherever your drive is.
And this hole does have a 20-foot elevation gain, so for toboggan, not the steepest, but definitely it's something to deal with. And it's playing as 11 most difficult hole, averaging 3.67.
So still averaging a bit over par. Or no, that's averaging under par.
Yep, 41% of the field birdied this yesterday.
That's a lot. I feel like this is a pretty tough hole, honestly. And I only say that because the green's tough. It's pretty easy to get off the green, left or right. And then on top of that, you have to deal with putting on that slope.
Yes, and we saw that low ceiling that you mentioned with those trees in the middle of the fairway come into play several times yesterday.
Paige opts just to throw it straight. Good shot, it looks, but I don't think it's going to be tougher to get the height to get all the way up to the pin from there, honestly.
That low ceiling.
And we saw Liz Carsipin throw the roller yesterday, and it looks to me like Catrina is lining up a similar shot here. And if that flips up, it's going to be so good. Oh, no. And that's just a bad break. I mean, she threw that with perfect angle control, nice speed down the fairway. If it misses that tree, she's literally in perfect position, and unfortunately gets a kind of a bad kick there, but similar to where Paige is, so let's see what they got. I like this play because it's going to get right, and the further right she gets, especially being having that sidearm she can lean on, it opens up the fairway a bit, and it plays well to that shot shape coming into the green. So I think she's actually going to be in a little bit better position than Paige and Catrina.
Smart placement.
And I think if Sarah had it her way, she'd want her drive now to end up in a similar position.
Yep. Noticed yesterday, and we're seeing it again today, Sarah cleaning off the tee pad before her drives. I think that has been an issue for her with the tee pads, getting good footing.
I mean, it gets a bit dusty out there, A little disappointed with that one. Let's go to commercial.
The 2019 United States Amateur Match Play Championship continues with our doubles bracket. Local doubles qualifier match play brackets will be held throughout the United States and Canada through July and August. The championship bracket will be hosted in Emporia, Kansas on September 27th through the 29th. In the Players Pack, each player on the teams will receive a Dynamic Disc Biofusion Raider and a Latitude 64 Gold Burst Pioneer. Make sure you go to discgolfmatchplay.com for more information for the tournament directors and for the players. We can't wait to see you out here in Emporia, Kansas for the championships.
So Madison's going to be first up to throw.
One thing that the women have to deal with that we won't see later on in our featured cards is having to wipe off the disc from dew and things like that, you know. Unless some rain comes, the ground should be fairly dry. But we see that as definitely an issue. I know teeing off early, those are different elements that come into play for sure. As you can see, she had almost nothing in the way for that upshot. And I don't know, it looked like she split those trees and she'll have a putt. I mean, I think she wanted to do a little better than that, being as, you know, she was in kind of a wide open area. And Sarah, unfortunately, lands right behind that tree. And looks like she's weighing her options, whether she wants to go sidearm roller, sidearm hyzer, maybe a flex shot. And it's just kind of tough probably to get the distance from there without any run up and almost, you know, no follow through. Seeing how if she does follow through, she could hurt her hand or something like that.
A lot of times when obstacles are in our follow through, we tend to pull it a little bit and short arm it, obviously trying to protect her hand.
Yeah, it looks like she's going to be able to make a wide enough stance. She's going to throw a flip up hyzer here underneath these branches to try to hit like that dirt spot on that hillside to slide up. Pulls it a bit. I do see the banners to the left. I'm not sure if that's out of bounds. I don't think it is. Only because I'm looking at, you know, the stats that I have, and I'm not seeing out of bounds on this hole. So should be safe over there. Should be able to make it some sort of upshot. I mean, she's only going to be 60 feet away. And as you can see, this is a good shot of what they have to deal with, being Catrina and Paige. Kind of a low ceiling, you know. I know Catrina likes to rely on that backhand for these approach shots. She does have the sidearm in her game, and obviously she's going to give that a go right now, but a little bit out of her comfort zone. Unfortunate that she throws that roller, which was such a good shot, and hits that tree.
That was a bummer. She can get it to slide up. Nice.
And that's just really good.
Very nicely done.
And that's her F7. And so it takes a lot of touch as well to go on top of that. That's not a stable disc. That's an understable disc that she's throwing on a standstill to maximize her distance from there. And it looks like Paige is in a spot to where, you know, both options are kind of limited, sidearm and backhand. You see her kind of going to a knee to see if that could be an option, which is telling me that this is a little bit lower ceiling than even Catrina had on that left side.
Mm-hmm. Right. This the course design definitely brings these trees into play on a lot of shots, so it's well designed.
And you see her asking for a skip. She's about 3 feet from hitting that dirt spot and getting a nice skip up to about circle's edge. And instead she's going to be, you know, probably around circle 2 or something. And what's going to happen is, you know, she's so aggressive with her putting sometimes to where it's almost like you never know if she's going to lay up or just give it a go.
Yeah.
And on a hole like this with the slope, you know, she's only ahead by 3 shots. That's a lot, but it's also not a lot.
Right.
Especially with Catrina throwing such a good shot, and she is going to lay it up.
Yep. Didn't even think about it, walked up and just executed it.
Right.
Well, we saw her yesterday, the first 4 holes she got. So she started off 4 down for the day.
Yeah, for 4 for 4 to start off. I mean, that is so good, especially with hole 1 being such a tough get. And there you see the result of, you know, that high rise having to straddle out, not being able to get enough power to get that over the rim. It was right on target as far as the line, but we all know if you go for putts like that, this can be the result, especially on a hillside with a slope like this. This is, you know, we've been lucky enough over the last few rounds to not see a lot of these rollaways. But this is, you know, one thing that comes into play on this toboggan course is exactly that. If you're off with your putting, one stroke can easily become 2, 3.
And this is definitely punishing too. You're absolutely right. This could be 2 to 3 stroke punish.
Because now you see her go down the hill, and you know, that's a good,
you know, and
20 foot of elevation she's going to have to deal with. I mean, she should be able to make good and put this, you know, really close, be able to tap in her next one. But going from birdie to bogey is always, you know, tough feeling.
And she does have the option to abandon this throw and re-putt with the penalty stroke from her last lie.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't look like it's too bad from down there. And it's interesting because she throws that up shot, and it's a good up shot. The bummer thing is, in my mind, is now she had, you know, she's going to have to straddle probably again.
Yep.
And she just missed a similar putt. She's at a distance where laying up is not an option.
Nope.
You know?
Nope.
And it just kind of puts her in position for something similar to happen. I mean, she's a little bit closer. I mean, she's 20 foot, but after missing one and then having to stare up at this one for bogey, it makes it that much tougher. No straddle. I mean, she should be able to make good from here.
That a girl.
And that's a good putt right there. A little bit left side, but it catches. And it's going to be a disappointing score, but able to put a Band-Aid on it for sure.
And hopefully making that putt will help Madison get in a good mental frame moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, that was a good putt. And
Catrina gets her bird.
And that's right on the stripe right there. I mean, her putting stroke over the last few tournament from Ledgestone to now. Obviously, we're only on hole 4, and we didn't get to watch her first round, but she just seems very in control. And from years past to this year, with the, you know, what I've seen, it looks like she might be putting better than she ever has. And when, you know, with how good she is off the tee, and then to come in with a putting stroke like that, I mean, that's a dangerous recipe. As we move into hole 5, 300 feet, you can see up this path, this is going to be a really, really tight corridor to the right and to the left. You see these 2 trees coming up right here. If you go to the right or the left of them, you've kind of done your job. And then it's kind of rolling the dice after that. This is playing as, if I were to guess, probably right around the 4th most difficult hole as far as birdie goes. It's not going to be a lot of birdies on the hole. As we look at it, you're only seeing 1 birdie on the day.
And they still got 24 feet of elevation to deal with.
And it says it's coming in as the 8th most difficult, so right there in the middle. But as far as birdie goes, it's a tough get for sure.
Yes, so we did see Catrina take 1 stroke from Paige, so they're 2-stroke difference now.
Look, she's going with a mid-range turnover. And really, you know, the really bad miss on this one is that white tree on the left. If you can kind of get around that while being tight, you'll be good. That's a mistake we see often is people missing too far left. And that one could have got up there a bit more if maybe she had the right height. So that was a two-way miss for her. She missed left and she missed the height on that one. Didn't roll too far down the hill, but from that point right there, that's going to be a tough upshot, even though she's only looking at 150 feet. There's going to be a lot of little trees in her way. And there's that little tree I was talking about. As soon as you get aggressive, that one will bite you. And that's in a bad spot over to the left. Looks like she caught the second tree, which helped her big time. Because if that one would have kept flying, she could have been 150 foot straight down that hill, left of even where Catrina's lie is. And with this kind of lining up well for Hokom's sidearm, that's a great shot. She's going to be just inside to just outside the circle right there, potentially able to get two on either Catrina or Paige or both.
Wow, that was well executed. Yeah, surprised to see Madison choosing to go backhand.
But if you're going to throw it on a line like that, I would do it. Gets a little unlucky with those two trees right there. She misses one or both of those, or one of those, and she's got to look. But, I mean, she's still looking at 45 feet.
Wow.
And this is a good angle to kind of see what Paige is dealing with in between her shot and where the basket is. You can see she's going to have to throw this little flex line through those two trees. It's just a tough shot right here. And then who knows even if she beats these two, if she's going to have, which she completely yanks that, and that's not going to be good.
Oh, what? What?
Okay. There's no way she was going for that alley. I don't think. She completely gave up on that shot, it looked like.
Yes, she did.
And so did I.
Did she get a tree kick and get knocked right towards the basket?
I mean, she had to have. It looked like she just yanked it down the hill again.
Wow.
Into the ground.
That was surreal. It was almost like her shot went out and then someone tossed a disc towards the basket.
Seriously, that did not match the shot that came in right there.
It did not.
Oh, that's entertaining. Looks like Catrina actually got a fairly solid lie here. Pretty wide open shot here into the green. I just can't. I don't know if oh, that's just such a funny looking shot. Yeah, and I'm sitting here saying, Hokom might be able to get 2 on 1 or 2 on both, and they just make easy work from down over there. We saw earlier different players from our 2 rounds yesterday go left, and almost none of them got up and down from over there. So
it's such an important stat that we don't talk about much, is the ability to scramble. You know, we're always talking about C1X putting or driving, fairway hits, all that good stuff, but scrambling is so important.
Yeah, and I think that's a product of, you know, one of the reasons we don't talk about it much is because we, you know, we're lucky enough to get to see these leader groups. And what the leader groups are doing are putting in a lot in circle, you know, in circle one and making their putts. So they're not really going out of bounds and having to scramble a lot.
True.
Even though yesterday we saw in our MPO coverage, you know, Willie Prince towards the back nine really scramble well, be able to say a bunch of nice pars. Hokom as well. This would be a nice get for her. And this is right in her range of comfort for her little kind of straddle jump push, as long as she gets the height right on this one. Yanks it a little bit right there. And that's a rare miss as far as direction goes. Usually she's right on target with those jump putts, and left and right usually isn't an issue for her. It's more of the height. We're going to see, you know, 4 pars, which is actually pretty good for some of the tee shots we had on the hole.
We're going to replay on Paige's shot, see if we can see what happens here.
Yeah, and I think we're wrong, Marty. I think that is where she was aiming. And just because of the camera angle, you know, we might have gotten a little bit of a excited.
Maybe, but it was kind of surreal. I thought we heard a tree kick and then
all kinds of stuff. Boom. Yeah. What a shot. Hole 6, 540 feet. Really the tough thing for this card is going to be to navigate this mandatory up here, which is this tree on the left. And if they can do that and get in position, Zach Melton's going to show us exactly where you want to land. If you land there, you're probably going to want to do a dance similar to what he's doing, because you'll have a wide open shot into this green up here on this hillside.
we definitely did see that Mando come into play yesterday on our feature card.
Yeah, we actually saw 2 of our players end up right on it. You know, didn't miss it, but ended up right behind it. So it does come into play. And it's kind of a tough shot here, I think, for Sarah, because she's playing that sidearm, and it's a left to right shot on a right to left hole, kind of, you know?
Yep, and it's playing as the 7th most difficult, averaging 4.39, just a little over par.
Yeah, and talking about, you know, the scramble statistic, Catrina's 2nd right now in scramble for this tournament. And an interesting stat is when I moved over to check Paige's scramble rate, she's 7th in the tournament. So she's not even, you know, she's barely peeking into the top 10. And that's interesting to me because Paige is the one leading the tournament.
That is interesting.
But that's the thing. With that scramble, you're able to kind of keep yourself in attack mode. You know,
right.
if you're constantly, you know, in trouble and then saving it, that can give you a lot of confidence.
Sure.
And she's just, you know, she's 2 back now, right?
Correct.
I believe.
Correct.
She's 2 back, so she's just right into that striking distance, just kind of hanging around. And as a leader, as she just throws an absolutely perfect shot right here. But
wow,
as a leader, you know, and the person who's chasing you is constantly in trouble and then constantly saving it, that can kind of get into your head a little bit.
The emotional part of it, sure.
Those are two great tee shots, though. I mean, making that Mando and making it by a long ways. Let's see if she can make the correction this from yesterday. She does. Really good tee shot from there. She's going to have a longer distance into this green, but that upshot is actually favors her because she does throw that kind of right to left flippy disc. So she'll be able to make that fairway kind of open up with her shot selection. And this actually does miss the Mando there. She'll be going from the drop zone, which is right next to the Mando, and that's a pretty bad mistake there from Madison.
If you guys like the H3 V2, but maybe you're looking for just a little bit more flip up and glide, the H4 V2 is going to be your disc. I'm absolutely loving it, and it filled a spot in my bag immediately.
Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag. Zuka is now producing limited edition color choices. Zuka can add custom embroidery to the front and/or sides of the bag.
Madison walked up and actually got her tee shot. And now she's going to opt for the sidearm, try to push it out to the right side and drift it in left. And misses the height a bit there. That's going to be another bogey, which is actually a little bit surprising to me. She is, you know, talking about scramble. She's leading the tournament at 93%. In her scramble rate. So she's, you know, usually when she gets into trouble, she's able to kind of patch it up. And this one, you know, she's going to have to probably lay that one up for bogey.
Yeah, especially yesterday she was able to birdie this hole. So I'm sure she's feeling that.
You can see that branch there on the right side. And this looks pretty good. It needs to flex out. Should be right around circle one. No, really close. Really great shot. Great height, good control. Made the fairway really big. Flex back 15-footer. That shot kind of disappeared from our camera. I wasn't sure if it was going to have the stability to come back. This is going to be a little bit tricky. When you're on that left side, even though she's made her way up the fairway, she was able to navigate past the Mando with a good amount of distance. But as she gets tucked into the left here, it looks like she's going to have to throw another sidearm. We saw her on 2 holes prior throw. Oh, no, it looks like she might check out her options. but she threw this similar disc and was able to, throw it very well.
Yes, she was.
The trick here is the right height and getting it wide enough to make this fairway a bit bigger, which she does. And this is really impressive.
Wow, that was.
To be able to have a touch sidearm like that, to be able to rely on that. And, she's not known for being a sidearm player.
No.
And she's making easy work from really tough flies right now.
Yes, she is. Definitely has the confidence to step up to any approach, forehand, backhand, put it under the basket.
Well, and the thing is, we have this scramble statistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it really doesn't show what scrambling really is. Scrambling is what she just did. She was off the fairway. And once you're off the fairway, you're scrambling.
Correct. Correct.
So is Paige right here. This is a scramble. Paige also showing that she has the sidearm. But it looks like that one's going to be a tester. That's going to be a little bit uphill. And you can't help but feel like it looks like Catrina's kind of pressing, applying just a little bit of pressure on her.
Yes.
And then over time, through the round, we've seen Paige kind of land a little bit shorter than Catrina.
Mm-hmm.
She's having almost stress-free birdies. And as that happens, like I said, over time, the pressure kind of builds up and builds up. And these putts become tougher and tougher,
And Paige answers.
Just a really great putt right in the center. Makes what looks just an easy work of that 25-footer uphill, which is just not easy.
So that put Sarah 2 down for the round, which she was tied. We actually had a 3-way tie for 4th. Her Ellen Windboom and Holly Finley all shot even yesterday.
And as Madison taps out, let's see what Terry's doing out there. Maybe get an on the course update.
Welcome back, everyone. We're checking in as we're moving on to the next third of the course, and of course we got a great battle going on. Kat and Paige going back and forth. Paige just making that putt from inside the circle. She's not going to let Kat close that gap entirely, as Kat's only picked up 1 stroke thus far. The heat, well, it's starting to pick up out here. Not so much just that as it is the humidity. It started out relatively pleasant this morning. With every single step we take moving up and down these hills, we feel the humidity climbing. We'll see if the afternoon storms will hold off or if we're going to again have some issues like we did yesterday. Again, great battle taking place. The winds are low. Everyone seems to be in good spirits. We're going to see how things move on. We'll catch you guys in a moment from the next tee.
Moving into hole 7, 385 feet. You're going to want to hit this gap right here. And as long as you hit that gap, usually you're able to push kind of up this fairway. It's actually going to be OB to the left, kind of where this tall grass is. This pine tree on the right is going to be your landing area. If they can get somewhere around that pine tree or just to the left of it, you're going to have a wide open up shot. It's going to be extremely uphill, but they should be able to make good from anywhere around there to where this basket is. really the trick is to hit the gap, not go left. And thank you, Terry, for that nice update. Looks like they're having to deal with a little bit of heat, a little bit of humidity, which can affect your throw. You get a little dew on your disc, having to wipe it down all the time. Grip issues can definitely come into play as we look at the leaderboard. We have some good scores out there. A couple 2-unders. Jessica Weiss getting the 2-under from one of the cards that teed off earlier. Ellen Windblom, who actually was at 2-under maybe a couple seconds ago, and then takes a bogey on 7. So we have some accurate scores as far as we've been saying for the last, even yesterday we said if you can get to that under par mark at the end of the round, if you can sign your card and you have an under par, that's going to be really good moving forward. And as we make that point, then we see the leaders and they're doing what they normally do, kind of pulling themselves away from the field. As we see Paige is 3-under through 6. Catrina putting together a great round already at 4-under through 6. And like I said, once we get past the next couple holes, it's how can you pad that score moving forward? Are you going to be able to pick up maybe a couple more birdies, which is really tough on that back 9? I think they're going to want to par, kind of hold that 4 to 5 to 6 under mark. It'd be really surprising to me to see one of them get to that 6, 7, 8 down. If one of them can do that, though, they'd be able to pull themselves even away from each other.
Right. And we saw Paige's birdies yesterday all came on the first 4 holes.
Right.
And so she played par golf from that point on.
And I always get a little bit mixed up with these tee pads. So that gap is not going to be an issue as they're already through it. But the landing zone is still the same. She wants to beat this pine tree, which she does. And that's going to be that's going to be a cakewalk up the hill to that basket.
Well executed. I mean, that pine tree definitely brings that new OB into play.
This is an interesting play from Paige because that's a long distance to carry that pine tree. In order for her to get around the pine tree, she might have to get this flat to even a little flex. And yeah, I'm surprised with that because we haven't seen her really pull that out very often. And when she does, she has more, I would say, a power forehand to where the accuracy kind of goes awry.
Okay.
A good miss, though. She didn't yank it left, which is initially what I was worried about. And she actually might have the power to be able to get to the pin from where she is right there. She's going to be far enough away from that pine tree to be able to throw understable out and around. So it doesn't take birdie completely out of the question.
Sarah executes very well.
Yeah, Sarah throws it perfectly.
And this hole is playing as the 6th most difficult, over a half a stroke over par. We did not see any birdies on it yesterday. Stay safe. She challenged it.
We didn't see any birdies on it yesterday, which is really surprising to me, especially with seeing these drives of this featured card. I guarantee there's going to be a birdie coming out of here.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Wear what the pros that film the pros wear. Savage Pro Tour apparel. Full body dye sub technology. Sweat wicking polyester. Lightweight Cirrus jersey. Made in the USA. Are you Savage?
Not a bunch. I was just saying there wasn't a lot of 3s. Giving that this is actually, I made a mistake by saying, I just assumed this was a par 4. and it's actually a par 3. So that was my mistake. And I was saying that, you know, surprised with that, but I just don't feel like there's going to be any birdies on this one.
Nope.
For the whole weekend. I just don't see that happening.
Nope. And you're right. The average is showing that. Like you said, it's over a half a stroke over par. Is how it's been playing.
I mean, these women are kind of in scoring position, giving the hole. I mean, it is uphill, and there is a backstop behind the basket. So, I mean, they could give it a little scare, but she's throwing a 200-foot shot, you know, up there.
Yep. And it was well executed. She made a great shot. I mean, that is still, you know, like everything we're seeing out here, elevation gain. This is another 54 feet that they're gaining.
Yeah, and in all reality, it doesn't matter what the par says. I mean, this card gets 3s, and they're going to be super happy.
True.
Paige leaks hers a bit. She's going to have to make a really tough putt to save par. Now, this was just a mid-range off the tee, though. So with that being said, Paige and Catrina, they do have that distance to maybe push it into circle 2. And it looks like, I'm not sure what happened right there. Looked like just a little yank from Catrina. I don't know if she was distracted. She said something after she threw and kind of looked to the left. So I'm not sure what that was. She's going to be outside the circle, and definitely surprising miss there because was in perfect position. I mean, she still almost made it to the circle, but that should have almost been a pick-me-up.
Yep.
Let's see, you know, after that, if she can knock this one down.
It's still way uphill.
Yeah, from just out the circle, but she's been on fire kind of from just outside the circle, honestly. Little headwind. And it was honestly a nice line, just a little bit too high. And what a flip-flop of events if Paige can now make this one and gain a stroke after you almost thought it was going to be the opposite. I think that was the same biker from the first round. That's hilarious.
Ooh.
And Paige pulling that one, so neither of our leaders are able to, you know, take advantage of each other's misses.
Yeah, Paige definitely would like to have that one back.
Yeah, but, you know, that gives Catrina a sense of relief as well, you know, thinking that she definitely made a pretty big mistake there, thinking probably that Paige is going to make that. I mean, I thought Paige was going to make that, so.
I did too.
And her having to wait now because of somebody behind the basket. And Sarah's just kind of sneaking around, you know. She's going to take par here. She's going to gain stroke on both of them.
Yep.
To remain at 2 under, they're going to drop to 6 under and 5 or 4 under a piece. She's going to remain at 2 under. She's right there within striking distance, which is kind of what we've seen from her this tournament.
Yes.
Just kind of hanging around.
Mm-hmm. And solid golf.
hole 8, 462 foot. Basically, you want to hit this gap with something that's kind of going to hyzer flip down the hill over these trees really aren't going to come into play for the most part because of the height that they're throwing at. They're throwing well above those 2 trees. What they're going to want to do is fly over them, and then you're going to see them land somewhere right around here. Now, Paige and Catrina are going to have the power to be able to fly it if they throw it correctly into somewhere maybe right here and take on these trees, get themselves a birdie putt.
Yep, and it's playing as our 5th most difficult. 3.66 average, and Catrina was the only one to birdie it yesterday.
Yeah, and one of the things about it as well, as we saw yesterday, is the miss that we saw was left. They were missing left, and once they got over to the left side, that was very, very, very high shrubbery and brush to where it was almost guaranteed bogey from that point. So I think moving forward on this hole, the key for them is the height on which they throw their disc. Too high is going to end up going way left because of how downhill it is. So if they can get the right height, I think kind of that's what they're looking for to take bogey out of play. Sarah's been throwing this turnover with this really understable disc. I think she throws it low. She's just playing this one for par. And that one looked like it was a little bit turned over, and that's going to be tough from there because I don't know if she had the distance to get past that first guardian. And if she didn't, you know, being sidearm predominant, that's going to be kind of tough to get that one into the green. Mid-height on that tree kind of right in front. I think this is a little bit too high to get all the way to the pin, but this should land probably right around circle's edge to, just inside the circle. So that's perfect. Really great shot. I mean, that's right in the mouth. I thought that might have been a little bit too high, but I was completely wrong there. So with that being said, I think if Catrina can match that same height with that angle, golden. She goes a bit higher. She is known to have a little bit more power, so let's see. I mean, she threw an X3, which is a pretty overstable disc. And it did end up a little bit left, so a little bit too high maybe.
Yep. She might have to scramble out of there to save par.
And I think if she can hit, you know, a little bit higher than Madison's shot, which is just at that tree line in front of her, that's what she's looking for. And that's perfect. I mean, I think that's exactly what she was wanting. This should crash those trees. Now it's just kind of luck of the draw. And she does crash the trees, but doesn't get that lucky kind of kick in there. So she's going to be inside circle, probably inside circle 2, but tough actually lie from that right side.
Yep.
Poison ivy ruins the best day outdoors.
Honey, careful. I saw poison ivy.
The rash is ugly, itchy, and spreads quickly. Zanfel's your answer. Skip nutty remedies and expensive visits to urgent care. When you get poison ivy, get Zanfel. No side effects, safe for kids. Zanfel washes away the toxin that causes the itching rash. Complete relief. Zanfel lets the healing begin. Got poison ivy? Get Zanfel. It works.
And here's Sarah's tee shot. She's in the high grass. She's not behind that tree like I initially thought, so she does have a wide open up shot. The tricky thing about this is just beating those 3 guardian trees that kind of get you into the circle. So if she can do that, turns this over way too far, it looks like. Gets a good kick, though. Circle's edge. It's going to be a tough putt from there, though, because you can see those 3 trees kind of right in front of her. And she's going to be looking straight up the hill.
Yeah.
With her style of putt, which is more that push putt style, it's going to be tough to get the height from where she is.
Looks like Catrina has found her disc.
You can see that rough on the left kind of just swallow her up over there as she walks in and then just disappears. So can't be too easy in there. The good thing is, you know, she has had the distance correct on her tee shot. So makes it a bit easier if you can kind of putt your approach instead of having to throw. Makes those gaps a little bit bigger.
Sure. And the margin for error when you're trying to scramble like is very small.
And she is still trying to figure something out in there. So that tells us that it's not easy.
Right.
And kind of waiting in anticipation to see if a disc actually makes out. She does catch one of the last trees, but still kind of puts her in a pretty good spot. Not a gimme by any means, but from where she was, I think that was a good result.
Very, very good.
And a lot of times the tricky thing about being at this distance that Paige is at, if you don't have that, you know, when you have a low ceiling and you don't have distance behind those trees to push, you know, it makes it easier to kind of use like maybe a stable disc. But sometimes the stable disc, when you're so short, doesn't have time to be stable.
Right, right.
You know, and it makes these a little bit more tricky. So she's going with the low ceiling right here. Needs to get the nose up, catches that branch, and that's what we're worried about. Because she, you know, she wants to go from left to right, but you have all those little trees in the way.
Yes.
She opts for the other one, and she's going to be punished for that. I mean, to be able to straddle now to get around this tree with the power to make a putt is going to be very difficult because she squared that up.
She did.
She's got to be really careful. Jump putting from this distance, sometimes you can tend to pull it. And she does. And now Kat's going to have a putt to actually bring it within one stroke.
Yeah.
And we saw her on the previous hole kind of drop the ball a little bit and not able to, you know, get up and down from a seemingly easy upshot.
Right.
Now let's see if she's going to be able to do that moving forward.
Yeah, because Paige had a chance to take a stroke from
both of them. Did yeah.
Last hole. That's Kat's turn, and with her putting, I'm going to say she's going to get it.
yeah, seems to be very in control of her putt. And this is a good camera angle, seeing Sarah thinking, okay, do I split the trees? I think she knows that in order for her to make this putt and save par, she has to split these trees, which it looks to might be able to fit 2 discs through there if that gets through. And that's always tough. You're thinking, okay, if I get through, I make it. If I get through, I make it. And then sometimes you kind of forget about the height issue. And you get through and you're like, sweet. Oh, yeah.
It's slightly uphill, too. It's a great effort from that position.
And this is for birdie right here. I mean, this is Madison's drive. Not able to convert from there, which is tough. I mean, that would be a good get for sure.
It would have been.
Yeah, tough result there. I mean, that's back-to-back holes where she had a chance, to pick one up. And we see now, we've seen this before, though. We've seen them kind of both do this. They've had this dance before to where it's like, one of them has control, and then it seems like it doesn't, and the other one has control. And then sometimes they're both messing up at the same time. And it's almost like they're playing each other at this point, because those are putts that we routinely see her make.
Yes.
Especially recently. And you just get the feeling that at this point they're only playing each other because that's what they're used to doing.
Right. I was almost counting on Paige Cat to take a stroke from Paige.
And then again, we saw that as well on the last tournament. Kind of taking those short ones for granted, and Catrina's going to now drop a stroke to Paige. And that's kind of been her Achilles heel.
Yep.
Are those shorter putts. Hole 9, 425 feet. And this is a very, very long par 3. So you're going to want to throw it up here, extremely uphill. You see this kind of opening right here. They're going to be wanting to try to throw kind of Anheuser underneath to best case scenario is right around right here, I think. And that's absolute best case scenario. I don't know if any of them even have the power to get the birdie on this one, as we see 0 birdies on the round so far.
Yeah, this is another one. It's playing as the 8th most difficult. It's averaging 3.54, so a half a stroke over par.
It looks like their gallery is growing. Thank you to Discraft for your sponsorship. Thank you to UDisc for your sponsorship and providing us with great statistics and now things that we can analyze and bring to the viewer. Obviously, it's really awesome to just be able to pop open the app, see the scores from the whole entire field, and really get a good indication of what's going on out there, what the conditions are like. As Madison lines up this tee shot, This looks great.
Oh, great shot from Paige. I mean, that's 425 feet uphill.
Yeah, I mean, she puts it 45 feet. We've seen her make longer for sure. It looks like Catrina's gonna throw highs or flip. Misses the high to lip, gets a nice little skip there. She's gonna have low ceiling into the green. Looks like she missed her height a little bit. This is a good perspective of the really low ceiling that these players have to deal with once they get up to the top of this hill. Even, I mean, she doesn't have a lot of height to deal with. This is a really tough shot, and that's as good as you can do it right there. That is not easy.
Wow.
You know, that's a foot off the ground almost the whole way.
You know, Sarah's just hanging in there. She's only a stroke behind Catrina now.
Yeah. And Catrina has a tough up shot here. I mean, low ceiling. On 2 holes prior, she had a similar shot at this distance and lost a little bit of focus, pulled it to the right, didn't have the right height. Let's see if she can make the correction. Isn't able to make the correction there. I mean, that is a tough shot. That's a tough gap to hit right there.
You're right.
You know, she has 4 feet or so on both sides. But you can't help but think maybe that yank came into, you know, play a little bit, maybe a little early release there to make sure to pad that miss. She is inside circle 2, so she does have a putt, you know, to still save par. But, you know, she wanted to just base that one.
All right. Madison has a similar look, but some of the same challenges. And well done, well executed.
Yeah, and as I look on the leaderboard, we have Madison at plus or even par on the tournament, and that's tied with two other players with, two other players after that within one stroke. So we have a really tight race for that fourth place right now. So those upshots become very important.
You do, and you have Holly Finley and Lisa Fakis only one stroke behind them and tied for 7th.
Wow, what a great bid!
That was a great run.
Did she hit the tray there? Or?
It looked like she kind of blocked us on the final shot, but it did look like she caught tray.
And what a moment would this be?
Yep.
For everything that's happened over the last 3 holes, if she could knock this one down. She has so much power on those putts. I mean, that didn't drop 1 inch from the moment it left her hand, and she had enough power uphill to fly over the basket and now have 15 foot down the hill.
Wow.
I'd like to borrow that putt for a tournament.
No, and it's extremely, you saw her walking up that hill. And I know the camera doesn't do it justice how steep that is.
But Paige is going to push her lead now to 4 strokes. Madison and Hokom being even 1 under, and now they're only Hokom's going to tie it up for a second here.
Yes, she is.
So just like that, Paige pushes her lead, and now the whole field is really tight again.
Yep. And like you mentioned before, Sarah's just hanging on there. And if anybody slips up.
All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to check in here after hole 9. Paige, first of all, you've got something to say.
Yeah, I just wanted to wish my dad a happy birthday. Wish I could be there. Hope you guys are having fun this weekend.
All right, go do your thing.
Thank you.
All right, so as Paige says, happy birthday to her dad. We know her and her family are probably out there watching, so thanks for joining us. A couple crazy turn of events in these last few holes. I saw it on hole number 7 that Paige was setting up for and ultimately took the bogey, and Kat couldn't answer. She bogeyed as well, so no ground lost or gained there. And then on hole 8, it looked like they were both going to bogey, and then all of a sudden Kat misses a very short putt. So it's kind of interesting to see what's going on here, how they're handling it, how they respond. Paige comes back here on hole number 9 and does exactly like she did yesterday. She puts herself at 45 feet, and like yesterday, just barely off her mark. This time, plenty of height as she was putting uphill, but not able to convert. Again, the only woman that I've seen in 2 days put it inside circle 2 here on hole number 9. A very impressive feat. Also impressive, she says that Robin, as in Sarah's caddy, has the exact same Tupperware as Paige just bought. They're storing apples in it. I tell you, it's just here what's going on. So much chaos, so many amazing things going on. We've got apples, Tupperware, and a few bogeys. Not much else is happening. We'll catch you guys on hole 10.
As we see Sarah once again doing a little house cleaning. The sand that they put in there really helped level out those tee pads, but obviously it also adds another element when it does get on the tee pads, makes them a little slick.
And I love the update we just got, but Terry, next time could you at least ask them what brand of Tupperware they're using for the rest of us? Hole 10, 370 foot. We just played a hole that's extremely uphill, and this is a very similar shot to what they're going to have to do with here. I mean, you're going to aim a little bit higher, but I expect to see Paige and Catrina both throw the same disc that they just threw on the previous hole. I think that with the mistake that Catrina made on the last hole with her drive, I think that's going to come into play on this hole, and she's going to be able to make the correction, make sure to get the height, and I have a feeling she's going to get in the circle on this one.
This hole is playing as the sixth most difficult, averaging 0.63 over par. And we have not seen any birdies on it.
I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say that we're going to see one. I'm going to say Sarah throws it in from right there.
Okay, I'm going to say Paige gets a birdie on this.
Well, that's going to be tough since she's throwing putter.
Yeah.
And if Catrina shows us that she has that same pink disc, I think that'll give us a good indication if she's running this hole, which I think she, at this point, she really has no choice.
Yeah. Paige just playing for position.
Which is so surprising to me. She has the power to get all the way up there. And she does grab that same disc, so that tells us she is going to go after it. And like I said, with the mistake she made on the last hole, I think she makes a correction, has the right height, and then it's just a matter of, does she beat that guardian tree? Overcorrects, too much height. This is going to be going a little bit too far, and that's going to be a tough scramble to get up to the pin. So
yeah,
just doesn't turn it over enough, and now she's in trouble.
Today, we'll be talking about the Nuke. The Nuke is a wide-rimmed, fast, maximum distance driver. When throwing on a wide-open course with the Nuke, I'm using it to unleash maximum backhand distance potential. Due to its slim profile and wide rim, the Nuke also fits really well in the hand when throwing sidearms. If I'm looking to throw down some boom sauce, I'm going with the Nuke. You can pick one up at Discraft.com or your local disc golf retailer.
As Madison throws it up. Very good up shot from Madison there. She'll make good from about 4 feet and get out of there with a nice par. Couple good up shots right there as we see Catrina in a tricky spot, but ended up having a fairly good lie here.
Yeah.
Has plenty of height to deal with, throws that up perfect. I mean, makes no problem.
Yep.
It looks like nobody even really has a tester, so. As we look at the card, though, we see Madison at even, Catrina neg 1, Hokom at neg 1. and then the leader, 4 and 5 ahead of them.
And par in this hole, they're definitely gaining strokes on over almost half the field. 46% of the field was 1 or more strokes over par on this one.
Right, and that lead really isn't that big from Paige, so all of them have a chance to make moves here on this, on this back 9, especially with how difficult it is. I mean, this is, like I said, you want to have those birdies so that when you come into this back part, which is the more difficult part of the course, you're able to kind of pad your score moving forward. We saw a couple scores yesterday be a little bit better coming into this back 9. Obviously, Paige leading the tournament, so she's in good position to be able to, pad that. We haven't ever really seen in a while, seems like the last couple tournaments, anybody but Paige and Catrina make moves for that title. And I'm curious to see if Sarah does push and Madison does push for that. Moving into hole 11, 318 feet. Up this hill, I believe that, Paige and Catrina are, I don't want to say the only ones with the power to get all the way up here for the bird, but it's definitely easier for them. I feel like I'm on repeat when I say that extra distance on this course gives you such an advantage just because of upshots and different things like that. But this is one of those holes to where it takes a good amount of power to get all the way up this hole into position.
Well, you're absolutely right. She was the only one to birdie this hole yesterday.
Oh, there you go. But I do believe if Hokom can put the right height on this one on that right side and flex something around those trees, she can definitely get in the circle. And we've seen Madison already surprise us with a couple backhands and getting into the circle and giving herself chances. She's playing well this round as well with that, bogey stroke early. But other than that, she's been just kind of plugging along, getting pars, and that's what you want to do on this course.
She's playing par golf. And she has sneaky power on her backhand.
Catches that tree bench, she's going to be about right at 50 to 55 feet on the low ceiling part of that green, though. So it'd be a tough putt to even run. I would love to see Sarah kind of, like I said, get the right height, get the right flex on this one, put it around the circle, see if she can kind of put a little bit of pressure on the leader. I mean, that's a good shot. It's a good shot, but it's just so far up there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, as standards, 51-foot elevation gain. In the winter, this obviously is the toboggan course. For those of you who don't know, that's sledding, and everything is made to go downhill.
And if this misses this tree branch right there, it's all the way up there.
Ooh.
She does catch the last branch there, and it knocks her down to about circle's edge. But, I mean, right there in scoring position.
Get you a good
that was
skip.
a good skip, yeah.
Yep.
It's funny to think about the battle that we're seeing right now between everybody. It seems like to me from tournament in and tournament out with this field that even when somebody gains that big lead and going into that final round, it seems like it doesn't matter how big that lead is, somebody's able, and it's usually Paige and Catrina doing their battle.
Yep.
But it seems like one of them is able to close that gap and make it interesting. So we're seeing Paige kind of pull herself away from the field a little bit, 4 strokes clear. And it's like that lead just doesn't seem like anything.
It does,
You
you're
know,
right.
it really doesn't. It doesn't seem like a very big lead to me, because somehow the field is able lately to just narrow that to 1 or 2 strokes and make it interesting. And that's what I'm hoping for. I want to see a battle all the way to the end.
Yeah, and you're looking at the leaderboard, and it is tight up top.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And, you know, not to, you got Sarah right in the mix.
And she is the defending champion. So you don't ever count out the defending champion, somebody who's a proven winner, world champion, major championship winner, previous winner of this tournament. You give her a putt to win the tournament, and we all know she's going to make that.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. You know, Madison's only sitting 1 stroke out of second place now.
Might not be the case after this hole.
Ouch.
As she really wants that putt, yanks it straight into the tree next to her. That's going to be a tough putt to save par moving forward. That was good height moving past, just a little bit right. Good little bid, though.
Yeah. It's scary, especially with that slope, that if you do hit metal, it's a good chance you're rolling downhill like we saw happen to Madison earlier.
And with, you know, if Paige, let's say, doesn't make those few mistakes we've seen, because these mistakes that she's making are kind of easy little mistakes, you know.
Correct. Yep.
She could have a big lead. But like I said, it's just there's something about the battle that we see in tournament in and tournament out with this field that just doesn't allow them to really pull away.
Right.
You know, and I don't know if it's a mental battle with themselves, if it's just knowing like that's lurking around. And it's the same with all the other divisions that we see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for some reason, it's just always a tight battle. No matter what, it's just hard in sports to really be able to pull away from an entire field.
Right. And, you know, it's interesting too. Not all players have the talent that if you do start off with that round that's not great and you're trying to claw your way back up, some players have that ability, but not everybody. You know, they want that pressure.
Yeah, and that's what makes, you know, these players that we're watching right now so great, is because they're used to it. It's normal for them, you know, to have those tough rounds and then come right back, and they're just used to it. And once you get used to, you know, once you get used to being great,
yeah,
it probably comes a little bit easier.
Right.
But it's tough to get to that spot, you know, to get that big win that gives you the confidence to be like, oh, hey, I can beat anybody, you know.
Yes.
Hole 12, 534 foot. And this one is one of my favorite holes on the course. I'd say one of the signature holes of this toboggan course. Straight downhill, par 3, playing as the most difficult hole on the course. And I feel like the reason why is to get a disc that actually gets past this tree right here, turning at the right time, to then miss this guardian, get past this little rock formation on the left, and then through this tight little corridor I mean, that's asking a lot for a birdie.
Yeah.
Especially when we look at 534 feet. I mean, we've seen par fours that are shorter than that.
Par is a great score on this hole. I mean, if you do par it, you're going to be gaining strokes on 63% of the field, where it's averaging 3.8.
As we get a little sneak peek at what the second card is doing, this is Holly Finley approaching her, looks like to be a very good drive. And you can see this is really the landing zone you want to be in. It takes that right tree out, and then you have just kind of wide open upshot down the hill a bit. And this looks great.
Wow.
Very good shot there from Holly. She'll be able to tap in par, which is playing as birdie this round, as there has been no birdies in the entire field on this one. That seems to be a theme coming on this back nine, to where the holes become so difficult that even the field isn't managing to birdie any of the holes.
Yep, and this is one of several holes that both the FPO and MPO are playing from the same tee box.
And it looks to be another good drive and another great upshot. Looks like we have one of the competitors who may have had a longer drive, but also may have caught that right rough a bit. And you can see that gives you a good idea of how thick it is on the right with those big trees and the tall grass. You get over there and it can get a bit tricky. Better, I feel like, right side to miss on your drive than left, though.
Okay. Yeah, we do have Jessica Weiss and Ellen Widboom on this card, and they're currently tied for fourth. Oh, nicely done.
And if they're tied for fourth, that means they're only one stroke out of second.
Yes.
So very tight race.
It
If
is
they're
tight
only one
up
stroke
top.
out of second, then they're only 5 strokes off the lead.
Yeah. What do you think?
Looks like the woman possibly discussing plans for the next hole, or
Tupperware. You never know.
which Tupperware is the brand. I asked Terry what the brand of Tupperware that they were using, and Tupperware is the brand. So silly question.
Right.
Silly
It's
question.
kind of
for
like
me.
Kleenex.
Yeah. Good marketing strategy from them.
No kidding. No kidding.
One thing with the play today is you definitely want to stay hydrated as well. We heard Terry early talk about how the heat's kind of picking up, and
As you see Madison take a drink, I think she was listening to you.
but definitely an important part of hot days, any day really, staying hydrated, letting your body feel loose and even just giving yourself something to do while you wait.
Yep. Well, it can sneak up on you. Staying hydrated and keeping good nutrition in you during the round is so important. So many times during the midway of the round, you see players, holes 12 through 14, 15, take a little nosedive. And a lot of that is due to low blood sugar. And if you're not keeping some nutrition in you out there during a round, it definitely can affect the way you play.
Yeah, energy levels definitely can fluctuate.
In that low blood sugar. None of us, we've all heard the term hangry. None of us want to get hangry out there on the course. There's enough to deal with.
Yeah, already angry enough most of the time, much less hungry on top of it. What a beautiful hole, though.
That is something about this course. I mean, every hole seems like just wonderful views. This course was installed back in 2000 by Discraft founder Jim Kinner. It was created for the United States Amateur Disc Golf Championship.
Love it. Love this shot.
Wow.
And that was awesome. I mean, we haven't seen anything close to that.
No.
With any of the coverage so far. It's getting past that tree and then penetrating down the fairway.
Oh, she's in perfect position.
I don't think she could ask for really even more flight out of her disc. I think she got everything she wanted out of it. Paige laying up, and that should be fine. I mean, that's gonna be tough because she's so far back that pine. I keep calling it a pine tree. I don't know what kind of tree that is, but it's a big one, and it's right in the middle.
Big tree in my way.
Yeah, big tree in the way, and it's gonna be a tough upshot from there.
Did you throw a putter off that again?
Yeah, she did. And this is a mid-range. And if this can get any sort of flex, this could be really great as well. And it does. She beats that initial tree. I mean, she is going to be in the rough, but we've seen a few people able to scramble from there pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And it did end up coming back to the edge of the fairway, so.
It did. Looks like she just missed that tree.
The further right you get on that, the better chances you are from where he is. If you go any further left of where the spotter's kind of going in, makes it very difficult.
Do we see Paige lining up her shot?
I'd be surprised if she can, get this closer than even Circle's edge. Just a tight shot from there.
It is. It's well executed, but it looked like she caught the branches there on the left. That's just a tight gap.
I think that's just a product of being out of position on her tee shot. I think she missed it a bit left. I think she wants to lay it up kind of to the fat of the fairway there. And instead she, early releases it a bit low and left. And when you do that, it brings that tree that we were talking about just right into play to where, it slims the gap that you have to hit down that fairway to get to the pin to about 4 foot by 4 foot radius on each side.
Wow. That's tight. And it puts Sarah in a good position right now to take a stroke. See Kat handing back the flag to the volunteer that helped find her disc. And thank you again to all the volunteers out there. So Madison looks like she's in a tough position.
Yeah, this is pretty tough. I mean, that tree on the right is so close that it kind of pulls your elbow in, and then your tendency is to pull it a bit. So hopefully she can push this through the fat part early and get it through. That's a little bit deep, but I mean, a good out.
Yeah, very good
and
out.
That's the thing about that is if you want to have touch coming through a tight gap like that, you're going to have to slow down. And when you slow down, that fast arm speed coming through, you're able to kind of hit your line a bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that a lot in the woods is, okay, I would rather hit the gap than slow down and miss the gap. But then you put yourself at 30 foot. And on this hole, 30 foot's a tough putt, especially on that high rise. So I'm sure she's happy to get through there. But she's going to have to earn it now. Catrina made it a good ways down.
She sure did.
Down into that rough. Not in the fairway, but it looks like she has a pretty wide open shot right here. Easy.
There you go.
And that should be a stroke.
Yep.
She should be able to get a stroke back on our leader.
Wow. That was a great drive by Sarah.
Yeah, I mean, it's directly in the middle of the fairway. It's a good 50 feet from the rock collection where we haven't even seen anybody get to. So she's a good 100 feet past what we've seen as the best drive so far on all of our coverage. She's going with a jump putt here. I can only imagine she's just trying to lay this one up. And that's not a great upshot from where she was. We're used to seeing her kind of throw that backhand approach. Very deadly with that as far as. So I'm wondering if she thought, okay, maybe if I put it a little bit hard, I could give it a slight bid or something like that to that effect.
Yep. They gave her a little tester with that elevated basket.
Knowing how aggressive Paige is, I think she's definitely going to give this a go.
Yeah.
And where she is right now on the fairway, she's about basket height. So that elevation doesn't really come into play from where she is right here. She gives it chain high bid. But that one coming back down the hill, I mean, that's not a gimme either.
No, it's not.
It's funny because we saw Catrina miss a really short putt earlier. And in the coverage that I've seen so far throughout the year, it seems like they both have a tendency to miss those like little short ones under pressure. So curious to see, you know, if Paige can kind of shut that off and make this one instead of possibly losing 2.
Right. It definitely can creep into the mind a little bit after missing a short one.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with your routine. Let's see if she takes a bit more time on this. I'm curious.
Yep.
You know, she's been going really quick lately. As it'd be nice to see Madison hit this, who's kind of been struggling from about this distance.
Yep.
That's a similar result we've seen. We've seen her not being able to kind of get it over that rim, last hole rim. She hit the box on that one, got that roll away. And Paige is taking a bit more time here.
She is. And nails it.
No problem.
Definitely, you could see the confidence in her butt, in her body language as she stepped up to that. Put her in. Nicely done from Sarah.
Both of them going to creep just a little bit closer to that leader. So, job accomplished on the hole. Pick up a stroke on the leader, get out of there. Hole 12 done now. $516 as we come up here to our tee pad on the right, you can see pretty big fairway. Way left is out of bounds. Right, completely safe. You're going to see them throw with good shots about right there, maybe a little shorter than that, and then have up shots into this kind of narrow green. And up there in the narrow green, you know, it's a really demanding shot, especially for somebody like Sarah. I think moving up this hill, you know, it's a little bit tougher for her being sidearm predominant and having to work a driver from right to left into a small green like this. I think Paige and Catrina have that buffer as far as distance goes to be able to put it far enough up the fairway to where they can almost throw whatever is the most comfortable shot in their bag from right to left, which is super comfortable for them.
Right.
Madison's been surprising us a bit with her power as well. Both ways, been able to show us very good control backhand, very good control sidearm. Her problem's been from right at about that 30-foot circle, right at that edge. You know, it seems like she hasn't had the power to kind of be aggressive on those putts, which if she had, she would be creeping up towards the lead right now. I mean, you know, we've seen her miss probably 4 or 5 putts at about that distance. So if she can fix that moving forward on the last few holes, you know, who knows?
Right. It is a tight battle up here as we look at the leaderboard.
Yeah, we see Rebecca Cox at +1, good round through 13 holes. Sandy Hindell at +3 through 13 holes. We're seeing right around, you know, at the end of this tournament, I think right around 13 over to 11 to 10 over is going to be your top 10 mark. And that's what they're all kind of looking for. You know, when you get those top 10s, it feels really good.
Yes, it does.
A great new feature on our live scoring as well is I like the fact that they put our flags on the left, showing us what country we're representing. Sandy Hindell obviously being from Canada there, as it shows, which is very close to the Michigan border, making our way into playing in a different country. One of the best feelings you can have, moving out and representing your country in a different country.
Sure. It's good to see. I mean, UDisc is constantly adding more and more great features to already a phenomenal product. It's interesting. This whole yesterday, Paige Pierce and Tiger Borth were the only two to get birdies on it. So it's playing just over par at 4.09.
There's a good putt from Holly. Lisa, one of the best putters we've seen in that really anyone. Like, she is consistent, makes good runs from outside the circle, is constantly showing great statistics inside the circle and outside the circles. As Sarah shows you, exactly kind of where you want to land. That's going to be tough. It's going to take almost a full shot for her to get up the hill to the left, though, to get in position. So and that's a good mark right there. I mean, that's still going to take almost a full shot from there to get up to the green. I mean, that is extremely uphill and a tough run up at that.
On that angle, yeah, and they still got another 50 foot of elevation gain. Paige ripping one out there. Boom.
Wow. Good 80 feet in front of Catrina's drive. That's a lot of power.
Way up there.
She's going to have putter approach into that green.
Madison. Again, showing she's got power.
Yep, and that's going to, she's going to have no problem getting up that hill. Now it's just a matter of getting it right enough with missing that guardian tree on the right. We also see that there's a sign up there, and I know about the sign because I've hit it before. So as long as they get it wide enough without missing missing that tree, they'll be able to almost throw any disc in their bag that'll get left into that green. Power is really not the issue as far as going too far because it has a nice backstop behind the basket. So I feel like if I was them, I'd be throwing a fast disc up there just to make sure to clear the hill, get left, make sure, one of the mistakes that we've seen throughout our coverage is getting left into the shrubbery.
Yep.
And there's almost nothing over there.
Right.
That's almost a pitch out, straight out. We've seen a few bogeys come from in there. So as long as they keep it right, we could see some nice birdies on this hole.
I wonder if we're going to see a backhand from Sarah. I know she's kind of got a little work to do to get back up that hill.
I just don't think she has the power for where she is to be able to get that up the hill. I think we're going to see her throw sidearm turnover. And there's that sign I was talking about. If they can get it to kind of go over that while turning, that looks pretty good. Great shot.
Yeah, nicely done.
No, yeah, you're good. We were mostly the same. You're good.
So we see Sarah throwing that orange flippy disc again. It's been something that she's leaned on and been very good disc for her all tournament.
Now, one thing we want to look for right here is running uphill, easy to throw it too low. As that's the case.
Yep.
Sometimes when you run uphill and then you have to throw that sidearm, your upper body kind of gets in front of itself and turns, and then really hard to hold that follow through up and get over that hill.
Wow. As we see the sign, intermediate hill. I'm sure that's from the sledding season.
That's a soft hill. Come to Arizona, we'll show you some nice sledding hills where
Blue
I'm
diamond.
from. A lot of people think desert when they think about Arizona, but I grew up at 7,000 feet of elevation, ski resort 30 minutes away.
So true. We got such a diversified landscape here. As we see Madison bring it in.
And that's, that's honestly the good mistake, because she can easily miss those trees, come inside, get a nice skip to the left, and then have, 40 feet in for birdie. And you don't want to go left, like I said, because once you get left into those, sometimes it's hard to even get out.
Wow. So you're right, Paige. Looks like she's going putter, up shot. Ooh. That is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, she's giving it a run.
Yeah.
She's so far up the hill.
She'll narrowly have a tap-in birdie.
Now, from where they are, there is a nice backstop behind the basket. So if I was in their position, I'd be giving this a go.
Yep. Quote unquote, have the green light, go for it.
Now she's jump putting from about 80 feet. So getting it chain high is going to be pretty difficult from that distance.
Yeah, you're right. You could tell from her body language, she was putting everything into that.
Yeah, I think Madison's going to have to opt for the sidearm approach. That's pretty good.
That was.
Let's see if Catrina can kind of calm the demons in the head.
Yeah.
From the last putts that she's had, she really hasn't had a putt since she had those hiccups early on. She's been parking everything. So big time putt here. Very nice.
Yep.
Slowed it down, kind of reached for it a bit more there.
Yep. It looked very confident.
Yeah, exactly. And very good putt.
Crazy.
Hole 14. This is playing as the 15th most difficult hole, so pretty easy. Averaging 3.9 or 3.09. 375 feet straight downhill. yesterday, we had mentioned that this is going to play as one of the easier holes, and our entire card kind of had some troubles on it. I don't think that's going to be the case today. I think that we're going to at least see two people in the circle. This is a fairly easy hole. You can take any disc out of your bag and pretty much kick it to the right side down the hill and have enough speed to kind of clear into this green as far as this card goes. I think the only person that's going to have a little bit of trouble is Sarah. Yesterday, we even saw her go back in on this hole, not have the power, not be able to push that back side of the fairway that you want to, push to have the carry to get left. So I'm actually curious to if she makes a correction and decide, hey, I'm going to go sidearm on this one. Maybe make sure I have the power to get in there.
Yep. Interestingly, there was 4 birdies on the hole yesterday, but none of them came from our lead card, which I would have thought so. Angela Cook, Colleen McGinnis, Erica Stitchcomb, and Sandy Hindell all birdied it yesterday.
A good little Anheuser putt there from Jessica Weiss, who's putting together a solid round.
Yeah, she's sitting right now. She's +1 for the round, even for the tournament. So she's sitting in 4th. As you see, Catrina trying to keep her hand dry. Sarah's form on this broom is actually something to be in awe of. She's been putting in the work. Where's her caddy?
Yeah, we saw her caddy kind of doing it yesterday. She's kind of taking over, and good sportsmanship for her to do that for the card.
Yeah, it is.
And especially with it not even, I believe it's not even her box, so that's nice to see.
That is.
Some good camaraderie from the card. And this shot is pretty much made for Catrina. I mean, as long as she gets it wide like she did, this should be very good. Yeah. Right around circle's edge, which is great. Looks like Paige lining up a little bit lower of trajectory, maybe trying to push a little bit more right, and she does. And this one, if it beats that one tree, can skip to the, just barely getting around in the circle. We'll have to wait for the next camera angle to see if she has a wide open look there. But, I mean, in the circle for sure.
Yeah.
Sarah is opting for that backhand, and let's see if she can make the correction from her previous round where she didn't quite get it flat enough and it leaked a bit early to the left. Definitely takes it a lot wider. This needs a good skip. Not quite in the circle, but she did make the opening. And this needs a skip to get to about circle's edge. If it gets a good skip, perfect. Yep, right inside the circle, and that's, what she's looking for.
I'm Matt Paxton, extreme cleaning expert from TV's Hoarders. People turn to me when they have big challenges. When it comes to making commercial and office buildings look their best, big jobs require big help. When you need your cleaning services to keep your employees working in a professional environment, you can count on the Service Master Clean experts to get the job done with consistent, thorough, and absolutely reliable service every time. Service Master Clean, where the experience matters.
When I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway. By accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Come up, Sarah's going to be first to throw.
And as I look at the leaderboard, it seems like -1 is the number. We have all 4 of the people in the top 4 at -1 for the round. Seems to be the benchmark kind of for this course. Wow, great bid from there. That was really good. I mean, Anheuser, we haven't really seen that from her arsenal so far, is getting that Anheuser. She's mostly a hyzer putter, so that was very impressive. Small gap as well.
Yeah.
And there's Paige, who looked like to be just inside the circle, possibly just outside the circle. It looked good, caught that branch, looked like it might have pulled it into the tray, so. And if Madison's up with this shot right here, that means that Catrina's going to be closer. And I don't know, it's just something different about having that stroke to get a little bit closer to the lead, you know?
Yes.
Like when it's to tie, it seems like neither of them had a problem. But when it's, you know, to gain one, it seems like they've been having a little bit more of a problem. Let's see if she can calm the nerves. You know, she made a last putt on the last hole up the hill. It looks pretty difficult, though. She's going to have to stretch out with her style of putt. That's a little bit tougher because when you're kneeling down, it's tougher to get that push putt stroke from down to up. So,
right.
As you see her wanting to do that for the bigger gap, but maybe going to have to go just over this little branch and then drop it. So a little softer stroke. Oh, and that was a really good effort. Kind of a tough break to be that close and have such an obstructed lie.
Yeah.
And another one gets away from her.
Yeah, she really wanted that one, of course. But very good effort from a tough lie.
Sarah to remain at 1 under for the round. That came out smooth. That was the best, stroke we've seen so far from her, just inside the circle. We've seen her, or she's well inside the circle, but we've seen her kind of attacking that rim a bit, just barely clearing, and that one came out smooth with a lot of power right on the stripe. Even though it was a shorter putt, that should give her a little bit more confidence moving forward. And we're actually heading into hole 15, and there's a 2-card backup on this one, so we're going to go to Terry for a second.
No birdies relinquished on anyone from the first or the second card. Catrina Allen closest to the pin. Madison Walker said after she was high and left on that putt, she said, I don't know if I love these baskets. She said, that left side is kind of my sweet spot. So she said she's not a huge fan. What we are noticing, though, is the best score out here is just -1 right now. Yesterday, of course, we saw our leader, Paige Pierce, open up the tournament with her 4 under. Right now, we're going to see if anyone's going to challenge or match that 4 under for the round. Right now, again, just 1 under. We've got 4 or 5 women at 1 under. Madison Walker has fallen off the pace a little bit. Right now, she's pushed onto that chase card. So we'll see if Jessica Weiss maintains that spot on this lead card, or if Madison can get herself back onto it for the final round tomorrow. What I'd like to know in the comments, or Yuli, Marty back at the booth, I'd love to know, do you guys think we're going to see someone at least match that 4 under? Put it in the comments. Go out, share it with your friends. We'd love the thumbs up and the likes. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's head back to the booth. We're here for day number 2 at the Discraft Great Lakes Open.
Yeah, and Terry brings up a good point. Are we going to see a -4? No. Moving forward, these holes are going to be too difficult to get to that spot.
Yep.
Tomorrow, possibly, you got to get them early. Interesting comment from Madison saying, I'm not sure if I like these baskets. Left side's my sweet spot. I'm going to give her a little advice. Don't ever let left side be your sweet spot. The sweet spot's the center.
Right.
So I don't like that excuse.
Right.
Not every basket's going to catch left or right, but I think almost every basket's going to catch in the center. So
you're right. And then that's typically the weak side. And most baskets left side don't catch well.
Sure. Especially, in this generation, as putts speed up, as people get more aggressive, you see the baskets kind of get heavier chains to be able to catch those, because that's what everybody wants. They want baskets that's going to catch everything. Back in the day, push putting was kind of the go-to putt, because in my opinion, I think the chains were lighter. Some of in the early days, probably early 90s moving forward with Ken Climbleberry Schultz, you see that kind of up to down stroke because those baskets weren't catching that spinny spin putt in the middle. Now it's kind of going the opposite direction to where these baskets are made to catch a putt with a little bit more velocity.
Yep.
And I don't think I have any problem with these baskets.
No, I don't either personally. I think they catch great, but
now
we all have our different.
To the point of having a high rise and something like that definitely brings into consideration some debate with that. Should we have them? Should we have the same height on everything? I like those as well. But let's go to some commercials and see what Johnny can throw out there for us as we have a nice little backup moving forward in the hole 15.
This is the First Run IPA.
Come visit us in Bend. You'll get fresh beer. You'll get some hospitality, and I guarantee you'll either see Val, Justin, or I.
Fresh as you can get it, right here.
I need to check the wind, I just let out my hair.
Disc golf is 90% mental. The other 10% also mental.
If you want to make new friends on the course, pick up someone's disc in the fairway by accident.
Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Hi guys, I'm Alyssa Van Lannen. You've probably seen me hiding in front of the tee pad or laying in the bushes trying to get the best shot. For the best moments in disc golf on and off the course through my photos and videos, check out patreon.com/Alyssa Van Lannen.
What do you think, flatness and stiffness on this?
Somewhat flat, neutral stiffness. Danny, this is the sick one.
Dude, I gotta get through all these today.
Cheers to a good day, gentlemen.
Cheers. Yeah,
That's good.
It's a hard day.
That's great.
The PDGA has ignited the passions of professional and amateur members, paving the way for generation after generation of die-hard players. Disc golf isn't just your passion, it's ours too.
hole 15. This is one of the more wide open, kind of straight tunnel shots. There's nothing in the way as long as you throw the correct shot. You do have OB left. But if you throw it that far, the OB really doesn't come into play. So she missed her angle by just a smidge there. She gets that a little bit more turned over. That's going to be parked. She still has a putt, though.
Yes, she
down
does.
there to the left. And this is a little bit more what we're looking for. Oh, get in.
Whoa.
Talk about a highlight reel.
Yes.
That's right at 400 foot on a very tight gap. She throws that perfectly, the perfect amount of turn, a little bit more height, and we're seeing this coverage on ESPN.
Wow.
And that's fine. That's going to be right around 80 to 100 foot away. And this is going to be good. This is going to make it to Circle's Edge. To just be.
Nothing wrong with it.
We're going to get a Zucker replay. Wow. Just wow.
Yeah, right off the tray there from Paige Pierce, just throws an absolute bullet down the fairway. I mean, that was so surprising because the line looked good, but you just don't know. You know, we see Madison throw a similar line, and then it, barely gets to the hill, and that just is showing us and Paige displaying the power that she actually has. Sarah throws a full flex down the fairway, gets in front of those trees, and she's at 80 feet.
Right.
And then not only is she giving up then what that shows me, 100 feet of distance to Paige, but to go along with the power that she has, the accuracy to be able to throw it down a tight, narrow fairway like that and to scare the basket. I mean, what an asset in showing why she's 4-time world champion.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Looking at the leaderboard, Jessica right now has put in the hot round thus far. She's 2 down.
Yeah, she's able to push it to the 2 down mark through 15 holes. We just saw her make a nice putt up the hill. I can only assume that was for birdie to get her to that 2 down. We've seen Madison kind of drop a little bit to +3. See if she can get maybe 1 or 2 back moving forward. Let's get back to the live action, though. We have Sarah kind of walking up to assess her lie. This should be no big deal. Yep, fine. It looked like it was a little further away, but as she gets up there, you'll see she's probably about 15 feet. Should be no problem. Catrina finds her shot kind of in the bushes to the left. Gonna be disappointed with that result. seeing as how she's probably only about 50 feet away, but she's going to have to kind of throw backhand approach instead of, a comfortable putting stance or something to that nature. A good height on that. That would have been something for her to answer with a little throw in.
Especially where Paige sits.
Madison made it into the circle. But this is that tester rain that she's had. Let's see her square this one up. Aim a bit high right.
See if she can commit to it.
Yeah, make the correction.
And she does.
I can't help but notice that catch really good in the middle.
Yeah, it did. That it did.
Plenty of power, great putt, and that's what we were talking about. She's going to be able to go from her previous score to notch a one closer to, well, I mean, Paige is probably going to make this for lead, but get herself from that plus score to a little bit closer where she wants to be. If she can pick up one more, she's going to be really happy with this round.
You can tell she definitely committed to that putt versus the other ones that we've seen her miss low.
Well, what a great birdie. I mean, just in general.
Yes, sir.
400 feet down that tunnel. Took two great shots.
Another good putt for Sarah. There we go. And Paige getting her birdie after that beautiful drive.
Hole 16, 354 feet. Kind of a similar shot as they just threw. A little shorter of a distance, but you want to keep it kind of low, going as straight as possible, right past this guardian on the right. If you can beat this tree, just kind of hugging that right side, you'll be able to filter something in to this landing area, which is obviously the green. And everybody on this card obviously has that shot. We just saw Paige throw a bullet down the fairway.
Yeah, we're
trying to pick up a little Sports Center moment. We saw Madison throw it to about circle's edge and then finally connect from that distance. A couple pars from the other women on the card, and now we have second card coverage. This is Holly Finley. Only one birdie so far on this hole. I think that's going to change after these two cards for sure. Here's Ellen Whitboom lining up the sidearm, putting together a solid round as well. Just been hanging around that top 10 mark to top 4 this whole round so far. Doesn't quite get through there, but should be able to save a nice par.
See y'all on the next hole.
Couple kids in the gallery there. Nice to see the next generation following these great players in their lead card to see what the best in the world are capable of. I'm sure they were very excited after that last hole watching Paige hit off the basket. That's a memory that I know a kid will have for the rest of his life, seeing something like that. So
for sure,
thank you to all the parents who are bringing those young kids out to see their favorite players and following them with anticipation of what's going to happen next.
Nice.
Here's Widboom throwing sidearm turnover, scaring the basket a little bit. Great upshot. Nice to get some second card coverage as well. Thank you to the camera crew out there doing work.
You know, we've seen several times before the camera crew running from hole to hole and navigating up these hills. I mean, hats off to them. They're doing some hard work out there to bring us these great shots.
Looks like she had a little obstacle with those branches being a little low ceiling. Jessica looks like possibly throwing that sidearm flex approach and getting stuck in the tree. No 2-meter rule. Happy that's becoming a thing of the past. As they give her a position on where to take her next stance. Just outside circle 1, about 4 or 5 feet, so make for about a 40-footer.
Right, that 2-meter rule, you're seeing it used less and less, thankfully.
Arizona really hasn't given it up that much. We still use it from time to time. And that tree really is like the main problem with this hole. Once you make the gap, if you throw a good shot, it seems like that one kind of snags all of those good shots and makes you have to earn it from about 40 feet. Lisa on the hole before made about a 60-footer.
Oh, yeah.
For birdie. Mentioned earlier, she's known for her putting. See if she can connect from about 25 feet.
Oh, beautiful.
And that's what we call the great equalizer. If you can make your putts in the circle, if you can make those putts from 60 feet, you're going to get yourself in contention time and time again, no matter how far you throw.
Yep. And Lisa and Jessica both have the hot round going so far today. Both down 2.
Along with our featured card, Paige Pierce.
It's definitely you. I got a 4 on my hole before. Yeah.
See if Paige can go back-to-back medal hunting. That'd be nice to see here. If I was her, I'd throw the same disc on the same line as hard as I could right at it.
Yep. This one's 354 feet, well within her range. Asking for it to flip.
That's perfect.
Oh, jeez.
Probably catches a bad break hitting so close to the basket where the grass is kind of a little bit more worn down from people walking and takes a wild skip past the basket. I mean, she almost did catch the pole on that one. This one is not going to flip, but honestly, it's his best case scenario because she misses so far left that's going to play as about a 40. You know, she's going to be about 60 feet, but it'll probably play about a 45 footer because it's straight down the hill from there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same result. It goes so far left. Good miss. Still beats that pine and have about a 45 footer down the hill. There's something about that left side on this hole. You see a lot of good putts made from the left side down the hill over the years. I've just kind of noticed it. Maybe the basket gets a little bigger once you're on that left side.
Interesting.
Sarah ended up catching that guardian tree on the right or on the left there. Let's go to commercial. Looks like they're left looking for maybe Holcomb's tee shot. I'm thinking. Looks like everybody kind of stagnant, not moving around. Yep. Gonna have to get in there and throw a little turnover. Going with the sidearm roller.
Yeah.
I've seen her do this a few times though, so it's not, you know, a shot where she's a little bit out of control. She definitely has good touch with this shot.
Yes, she
and
does.
She leans on it quite often.
Oh, yeah. That was a phenomenal shot from that position.
Very good. So much touch to be able to land your disc on a roller angle and be able to dictate the entire movement of the disc up to the basket.
Wow.
Madison made a good one up the hill. Let's see if she gets enough power on this one to scare up the basket on this one. Oh, and then that left side miss.
Yep.
One thing we haven't seen from Catrina so far is an outside the circle putt. I think early on in the round she had about a 40-footer up that hill. I remember, and it was the only putt from outside the circle. She really didn't have an obstructed lie. She put a good bit on it, a little too high, but right on line.
This would be a great time for her to get one.
Yeah, and she's just outside the circle here, about 4 to 5 feet. And I don't think she's going to need to jump putt because of how downhill it is. I think this is all going to be about a nice solid stroke, hitting her release point, and letting the disc do the rest of the work. Just let it kind of fall with gravity right in the middle. And honestly, that looked like a good stroke.
It did. It did.
Looked pretty solid. Just not enough juice. Paige, right about circle's edge. Don't know if it's an obstructed lie with those branches, but if she could make this, she could push her lead to 5, which would be the biggest lead she's had thus far.
And she does. Great putt.
That's back-to-back birdies for her. And on this course, anytime you can go back-to-back, you're gaining strokes on the entire field. I believe we're going to have another backup on the next hole, so we're going to go to a few commercials. When we come back, we're going to be heading into hole 17, kind of rounding down this round. I'll catch you in a little bit.
I can throw this disc around the world in one shot.
Never play disc golf too far into the jungle. There may be cheetahs.
Someone on your card can't recall if they threw a 6 or a 7. It was probably an 8.
See? Stay getting birdies, my friends.
Hey everybody, this is Kevin Jones. I'm here with my brand new Prodigy BP3 V2 backpack. And I'm loving this thing a lot. It's extremely lightweight. It's carrying all the discs I could ever ask for. It's pretty sturdy and durable. I've got my 2 putters up here, no problem. Room for a towel if need be. It's really lightweight, it's extremely efficient, and for all you, it's extremely affordable. So come check it out.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in. Oh.
For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion.
For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
Yeah, and as we go into hole 17, we catch up with the second card. And this is actually Jessica Weiss's drive where she's playing this approach to. So turns that over a bit much, and that's going to be right at about 60 to 70 feet up the hill. So plays very far. In order to get into position to get up to this hill, we did see a birdie yesterday on our coverage from Liz Carr-Sipin.
Yep.
So it's definitely gettable. I think that was one of the only birdies yesterday, though, on the hole. So takes a lot of power to get down there. Then another really great shot. Then you're probably going to have to make a good putt. With the way Paige is driving right now, I don't think that's going to be a problem to get into position. But the last couple holes, you know, she's picked up 2 nice birdies, but they've been those really straight, flat shots. This is going to be completely different. She has to throw directly downhill on the tee shot and then directly uphill. So 2 different shots, not, you know, those guaranteed straight bullets that she's been playing on back-to-back holes.
Yep, and that's a 630-foot hole. It's going to have a little elevation gain, only 26 feet on this one. So
from their tee shot, I could imagine her getting around this bush to the left. And if she does that, then she only has putter up into the green. And here's a good approach. And Lisa actually made a similar distance 2 holes prior to this. About 70-footer, 60-footer. That was a little further. Camera guy kind of tricked me there, thinking she could have been a little closer.
But we say only 26 feet elevation. We can see how uphill that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's so steep that you can almost touch the ground in front of you.
Wow.
As Woodboom lines up what looks to be about 45 to 50 footer. As she gets attacked by mosquitoes, which Michigan is known for. Paige Pierce just teed off. She puts it right in the fairway, kind of challenged that left side out of bounds a bit. Didn't turn it over as much as she wants, but she's going to be in good position with plenty of distance to be able to navigate her way up the hill. Madison's been throwing this disc quite often backhand, and it's been on the understable side of things, which is a good mistake to make. That's going to kick back, be right in the middle of the fairway, but from that to the basket's going to be right around 400 feet. And that'll be testing all the distance that she has in her arsenal.
Yeah, this hole's playing as the fifth most difficult, averaging just over half a stroke over par.
And that might be a little bit too far to where that kind of poofy tree is going to be kind of in her way. Now, if she's short of that, then she'll be fine. She'll be able to throw something up that hill, possibly give her a look. But if it is in the way, it definitely makes it a bit more difficult, as she's going to have to throw more of an angled shot into the green. The run-up is going to be tough from over there as well because the grass is so high. This looks to be as good as Sarah could throw it, right where she was aiming, right in the middle. But then again, that is going to challenge all the distance that she has to get up to the pin from there, which is why, that OB comes into play.
It does.
They all ended up not really even coming close, but they all threw solid shots. I think as we look at the hole and the difficulty of this hole, it's the seventh most difficult hole, but it's still averaging a bit over par. So not a lot of birdies. We're seeing only 2 birdies so far through the whole entire field.
Yeah.
We see Paige, though, go back-to-back birdies right now, kind of pushing her lead. She's 5 ahead, and, I said I didn't think anybody was going to get to that 4 under mark.
Right. She's proving us wrong.
She's at 3 under right now, but these are hard gets. It's hard to get these birdies. It's hard to get any birdies on this course. Right. As we see from each hole, it seems like each hole we get to, we look at how many birdies are on that hole, and it's never really more than 3 to 4 birdies.
You're right.
So,
and a hole like this too, par is a great score.
Yeah.
You score par, you're stroking over half the field.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The second card, putting together some good rounds though. Lisa at -2 through 17. Jessica Weiss -1 through 17. So we have a lot of people trying to get up to that final day feature card, lead card. It is moving day, and we have seen a lot of different names kind of pop up on that top 10 leaderboard. Rebecca Cox putting together a solid round at +1. We even have Paige Pierce at making her way into the top 10, who was on our first featured card, struggled a bit, but now making her way back into the top 10. And you can see from this angle, it looks pretty far. The basket looks very small on top of that hill. I do think she does have the distance to get up there, but it's going to take all of what she has.
She definitely wants to stay out of those bushes. We saw players go into those yesterday and in a very bad position. Looks like a great shot from that spot.
Yeah, and she gives it a little nod, like, okay, I'm happy with it. I think best case scenario, she could have got to circle's edge, but like I said, that's with a perfect shot. Judging by that shot, I think similar result here. I think Madison has the distance to get all the way up the hill, but it's going to take nice height with some turn, hyzer flip to the right, and this could get to circle's edge. Right at circle's edge, yeah.
Nice job. She's throwing the same disc that she threw off the tee. I think that's her star strike.
Yanks it a little bit, but if this gets stable, it'll be able to get to the back side of the green. And that is just a bad break. hopefully she might have rolled to the left side or right side, but that's just a bad break to get behind yet another obstacle inside the circle.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
You saw with her run up, though, it was probably a product of that. She was kind of shuffling her feet through that tall grass, probably didn't get the timing or, run up that she wanted to be a little bit more accurate. Looks like the puppy dog's lining up the shot for Paige, giving her the go-ahead green light here. Displaying what distance will get you. She has putter up shot into this green.
Wow.
And unless we can see some heroics by Catrina from that right side, Paige is going to push the lead to 6 and get to that 4 under mark.
I worked at school, so I snowed in. So I'm gonna watch I watched at least 2 rounds of that. The course is awesome.
I think the little puppy dog's read was good.
Yeah, I think so. He seemed to be happy with it.
Is there a spot?
No.
I'm gonna stay here because there was poppers. There was one that
She's up there. She's like up on the
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Looks like some spectators are helping Sarah locate her disc. And she'll have a head knocker for her par.
Couldn't see. I have no idea.
This gives us a great look of what Madison has to look at and how steep this uphill is that she's dealing with.
See if she can get the power to give this a nice bid. She's been left all day, with the exception of one really good putt.
Hey Trent, did you see where Cat's upshot landed?
Looks like she's located it with the help of the camera crew. I don't think
Get out of the circle if you're not.
I don't think there's really a chance that she makes this. I mean, with that low ceiling from here, she's going to have to, well, now there's a slight chance if she gives us a little bit, but that would be such an aggressive run right here with the slope behind the basket. Yeah. I think that you would just lay this up, but.
And she does.
Kinda. I mean, that's still a putt from there.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Still got a little meat on the bone.
And these are the ones you get a little nervous about, you know. I feel the nerves here in the booth. You know, this is like right at that distance where she's 5 back, about to be 6 back. Paige is absolutely parked for birdie. She knows this is an important stroke. And you could just kind of feel it, you know, in the air, like just one of those moments, you know.
Yes. Yes.
And you hate to see that. You want to see her knock that down. But that's been a slight problem.
It has been.
Is, you know,
you're right.
Having really hot streaks with the putter and then having some cold streaks with the putter. And we've seen Paige have a more consistent round. She had a couple hiccups in the middle there. But as she's caught fire towards this back nine and the back few holes, I mean, she's 4 down through 5 holes, which is something I didn't think we were going to see.
You're right.
Now we're, you know, the round's almost seemingly done. We're into hole 18. OB to the left, 315 feet up this hill. You see this branch on the right. You really want to throw. It's funny because it looks like it's a low ceiling, but because you're coming from so low, it actually plays this pretty high ceiling. And you want to throw turnovers somehow up this hill. Curious to see if we'll see somebody play pretty aggressive. I think, you know, Catrina's in a position where she's not going to be able to really lay this shot up, you know, and play for par. She's going to need to stay aggressive from this point on, being 7 back of the lead now.
Yes, and it pushes Sarah and Catrina into a tie for second.
And Paige, you know, I feel like we've seen this before to where when she has that padded, you know, lead, it's rare to see her try to just kind of pad that. She tries to push the envelope, and that could get her into trouble. I mean, moving into hole 18, depending. Looks like she is going putter here, though. And that's needs to get down. And she does, but that's a missed shot, you know?
Yeah.
That's not an easy upshot from there either. So
it's a good kick, obviously.
Very good kick. That was heading straight out of bounds. Now inbounds, though. If she can get up and down, she'll be at that 4 under mark for the round.
Great shot. And this hole is playing as the second most difficult, 3.58. It's over a half a stroke over par. And we have not seen any birdies on this one.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to even, you know, see one get up close to circle, you know, middle circle 1, circle 2, something like that, right around 45 feet is like probably the closest you'd be able to see. It's just a tight gap, and you have to risk so much. This one needs to hurry. It does. Probably pushing the envelope a little much, but coming back inbounds. And yeah, so Catrina has this flippy that she's been throwing all day. That's telling me she's going to be aggressive. She's going to, you know, throw this high, try to get the turn. That is one thing Catrina does know, is she knows at this point she's been in this position before, and she knows now she has to put the pedal to the metal in order to catch her.
Yeah.
We'll see her be aggressive from this point on all the way until the final hole tomorrow. I guarantee that.
The Raptor was created for a specific shot, a specific distance, and especially comfort. A lot of thought went into the design of the Raptor. We wanted to make a disc comparable to the Zone that just went a little bit further with that consistency. And with the Raptor, I really feel
And
with another great up shot.
Yeah, and she has a little tap in to secure that 4 under par, which is so far the best in the tournament, both rounds. Being able to go 4 down, 4 down. If she can do that again tomorrow, it's a guaranteed win.
Yes, it is.
because there's no way somebody's going to push, 10 to 11 down. I just do not see that happening on a course like this. Katrina's going to give this one a go. It's slightly uphill. Maybe not.
Great putt.
Great finish right there from Madison.
I think that's just what she needed heading into the final round.
Yeah, just a really good save. A nice par.
Yes.
Team is waiting for you.
Ooh, good catch. Good catch. Nothing but smiles from Paige. Deservedly so. And we're here in the booth. Let's chat a little bit about what we just saw. And then we'll probably go to Terry for an interview, hopefully with Paige, who has just a phenomenal round, pushing it to 4 under par, pushing her lead to now 7 strokes over Sarah Hokom and Catrina Allen. We see Lisa have the second best round of the day with a 2 under par, getting her back to even. She'll be on the lead card in our featured card tomorrow, with Jessica tying that up with a 1 under par, tied for 4th. The one thing that I saw in this round was I saw in the middle of the round, somebody could take it. We saw it really close at first. They were Katrina and Paige were exchanging blows. And then all of a sudden, it was like that moment that you could just feel as soon as one of them makes a good shot, it was like it was their tournament for this round. And then Paige, has SportsCenter moment, hits the basket, gets 4 out of the last 6 holes to finish the round and be able to push her lead to 7 strokes. I mean, that's just phenomenal. And then, like I said before, she throws another 4 under par tomorrow. It's a guaranteed win. Nobody's going to be pushing that 10 to 11 under par. And if they do, career round.
Right.
Right. We're talking course record kind of stuff. So top 10, Paige Pierce, Rebecca Cox, Holly Finley, Madison Walker, Ellen Winboom, Jessica Weiss, and then our featured card for tomorrow that we just mentioned. Got any closing thoughts?
No, it's just phenomenal golf. I mean, Paige put up 7 birdies on the day.
Wow.
And that's phenomenal. She was really, you thought at one point they were back and forth in her and Katrina, and Paige just kind of pulled away. A few mistakes by Katrina that we didn't expect, and they'll cost you.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw the same thing from Madison. She landed at right about that 30-foot mark a lot that round. Wasn't able to capitalize until the very end. She made a couple nice ones, which ended up padding her score. That's going to keep her right in the mix. Only 2 strokes out of second place, which, at this point, the rest of the field kind of has to realize, like, this is out of reach and we're playing for second.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were going to Terry there. As we move forward also, and we're coming up into our MPO featured card, which should be really great. Hopefully the weather holds off and different things like that, so that everybody please come back for that feature card. We have a lot of great players, which we'll get into when we get into that coverage. But it looks like, as I'm looking at some of these camera shots, that we do have an interview coming from Terry, and that's going to be with Lisa, who makes the big jump onto the lead card. So I'm going to be excited to hear what she has to say about the round. We saw, the coverage from our card. We actually got to see some of her shots. We saw her make a nice 30-footer on one of the holes for birdie. And so let's get right to it and hear it from her.
All right, everyone, welcome back. I am now joined by Lisa Fakis. Lisa, we find you joining us here on the lead card for final round. You shot a 2 under that round. How did it feel?
Wow, it felt really good. Started with a big hiccup on hole 1 again, but I told myself to just shoot really solid after that. I tried to stay really mentally sharp and got some really clutch birdies that helped me stay under par.
Yeah, I believe you had 5 or 6 birdies that round.
Yes, three on the front, 2 on the back.
Is there any part of the course that you feel a little more comfortable on? Does one side play easier than another?
Like the beginning of the course is pretty friendly with birdies, and then there's some late in the round too, kind of late in the mid back 9 to get, and then there's some that are just kind of, you just want to pick up your par. But yeah, I was kind of waiting for those holes, trying to attack what I did.
All right, well, we see Paige Pierce, she had matched her score. She shot 4 under and then followed it up with another 4 under. That puts her at 8. And with your round today, I believe you're sitting at even, but then there's a couple of negative ones in front of you. Mm-hmm. So it's a very tight battle. How do you feel about going out and trying to hunt down Paige Pierce at this point?
Paige has got me by 8 strokes. Yep. So I'm really excited about my chances at second place. Okay. However, Paige is not out of reach. Right. But I'm more more focused on moving up on the girls within a stroke of me. Yep, and man, I have a lot that I can still improve on out there. I'm just thinking of hole 1 over and over. And my first 2 drives, I just flipped them OP. So it was really hard to take that. So I just want to improve tomorrow on a few shots and keep shooting solid.
Relatively easy to start out by cleaning up on hole 1, and then maybe that'll just be the momentum you need.
Yeah, Terry, it sounds easy, but so far I've been having a hard time. And I really want to get some practice swings on that hole before I get going tomorrow, hopefully, and then just be confident going into the round.
All right, well, this is Lisa Fakis. She's going to join us, watch us live, of course, tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Time, as we're going to bring you the FPO Championship round, the final round, along with Lisa and the other 3 women. Lisa, anything to say to everybody out there?
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Innova, everyone back home. See you guys tomorrow.
All right, she said it best. And we'll see the rest of you at 3:30 Eastern today for the MPO round. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, great interview there from Terry and Lisa. And, she hit on a couple great points. I really like where her mind was when, he started talking about Paige being in the lead. And she was like, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I got a bunch of people within 1 stroke from behind me. I got 1 stroke ahead of me. And that's what I want to focus on. I like how she said, I want to focus on hole 1. That really gets her around going. She took double bogey on that today and the previous day. That's 4 shots, right, to improve on. So she's kind of thinking first things first. Mm-hmm. And I like that. That's a good lesson for the rest of us. Don't get ahead of yourself. Kind of stay in the now, focus on the positive. And what a great round for her to start off 2 over and then make it back and get to that 2 under par mark. Jump all the way up to that leader group. That'll be fun to watch her and her putting skills tomorrow. Tomorrow I think the storyline is going to be that second place battle.
It is. I think for anybody to catch Paige is going to have to help them out. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely completely in her control.
It is.
For sure. I want to thank all the viewers. I want to thank Discraft, UDisc, Savage Apparel for all their sponsorship, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you, Johnny, for directing us, and yeah, can't wait to see the battle tomorrow.